Good afternoon and welcome to Belle Vue Speedway, home of the Manchester Titans. In the booth, my name is Stan Wilson, and in the booth next to me, I'm joined by Sam Bloomfield. How are you doing this afternoon, Sam?
I'm very well, thanks, Stan. Lovely Manchester afternoon.
Yeah, we've escaped the torrential downpour of rain from this morning, and the sky is out. Not quite no sun just yet, but we have some rainless conditions at last here in Manchester.
Yeah, can't promise that it'll stay off. There are clouds, dark clouds still in the sky, but I think that both teams will probably have prepared themselves for the standard Manchester weather.
Absolutely. Before we get any further into the stream now, Sam, do you want to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and your background in American football?
Sure thing, yeah. I've been playing American football for around 25 years now. Coaching the sport for around 23 years. Started out at the Chorley Buccaneers doing junior flag, Chorley now known as the Lancashire Buccaneers, and then worked my way up through the Lancashire Academy, eventually playing for the adult team. And then in 2017 made a jump across to Manchester. And spent the years here playing quarterback, and then was fortunate enough to get selected for the Great Britain squad. I've, as of last year, since stepped away from playing American football domestically. I'm just trying to focus on playing a little bit for GB if I'm successful there, and then I suppose I'll just focus fully on coaching and live stream commentary, I suppose. So what about you, Stan? Can you tell everybody a bit about yourself and your background?
Well, I've been involved in the game myself for, I think, 7, 8, 9 years now. I've lost count. So I started off playing at the what is now the under 16s level, 5-on-5 football, before progressing to the 9-side format down in the south of England for Hellingway Hound Dogs. And then I came to university at the UCLan Rams, where I played offensive line for 3 years. And I've since moved into coaching, and I now coach as a general assistant at the UCLan Rams and as offensive coordinator for the very same Lancashire Buccaneers under 16s setup that you came from yourself, Sam.
Yeah, plenty of experience working with Stan, both as a player and a coach. I would say that as a young player, kind of coming up, I was very, very impressed by your knowledge straight from the off, Stan. And I think that what I've seen you go into coaching as you've, really turned over, a new page for yourself and really opened up a different world in American football. So for those people who are interested in, I suppose, the trenches, the offensive and defensive lines, Stan's experience there is going to offer something that I probably wouldn't offer quite the same insights.
Thank you very much. Very complimentary there. Let's bring ourselves now to the game at hand and to Titans' opponents today, the Nottingham Caesars, who have made the trip over this afternoon. So if we look at Caesars' most recent form, they're obviously coming off the back of a 17-2 loss to the hand of the very same Manchester Titans, played away at the David Ross Sports Village last weekend. That was obviously the previous matchup. Before that, the Caesars played another pair of back-to-back games against the East Kilbride Pirates, with the Caesars coming out victorious on the latter game with a 2012 victory. Previously, the Caesars travelled to East Kilbride and they were handed a 31-12 loss. And Caesars opened the season with a 6-10 defeat to the Vikings. So a bit of an up-and-down season so far for the Caesars, but no doubt they'll be hoping to secure a victory today here at Belle Vue Speedway.
Yeah, a bit of a rocky start. They got that early game out the way, and they weren't quite able to get as many points on the board as I think probably the Caesars and the Britball community were expecting to get on the board. They've been a high-flying offense in Division 1 for the past few years under offensive coordinator Grant Lawless. And they've come into the Prem and kind of struggled to score points. But the Caesars defense, on the other hand, has done quite a good job at keeping them competitive in most games. There's no easy games in the Premiership. And so I was fortunate enough to have a chat with Grant Lawless earlier on in the week. And so we'll probably get to that, what Grant thinks about the game, what George Foster, head coach of the Manchester Titans, thinks of the game. But yeah, we've after the result last week, certainly got an interesting game here.
Absolutely. Let's flick now to the home side. Your Manchester Titans. They're obviously coming back off the back of that 17-2 victory in Nottingham last week. A low-scoring affair, but one in which the Titans were able to hold the Nottingham Caesars offence to 0 points, with that sole safety providing the 2 points for the Caesars for the game. The game before, the Titans obviously had that 36-7 victory of East Kilbride Pirates. And previous to that was obviously their trip to Newcastle, where they put 66 points on the Vikings, conceding 0. And of course, they opened the season here at Belle Vue Speedway with that 9-7 loss. But it seems the Titans' offense has started to fire, and hopefully they can continue that today.
Yeah, it's going to be about consistency for the Titans. You've got those 2 games in the middle where they managed to score, a really sizable amount of points. But bookended by those is the 9-7 loss to Phoenix, which was at Butts Park Arena in Coventry. Manchester are yet to play Phoenix at home this year. That's
my mistake.
That's the last home game of the year. And likewise, in the most recent game that they played last week at Nottingham, they were able to move the ball quite well within the 30s in the middle of the field. But once kind of both teams really got to the end zone or the red zone, they kind of sputtered and struggled. There was a long touchdown pass from Charlie Martin to Sam Penfold last week, which opened up the scoring. And there was also a late score by Hafiz Bisiriu.
Let's see now how these scores have impacted the Premiership North Division table. So if we look to the top of division now, we have the Coventry Phoenix sitting on top with three victories and 1 loss. Of course, the separation between the 2 teams being that head-to-head result from earlier in the season at Butts Park. In third place, we have the East Kilbride Pirates with two wins and 2 losses. Newcastle Vikings are in 4th place with 1 win and 3 losses, and then the Nottingham Caesars, today's opponents, with one win and 3 losses, being separated from the Vikings on head-to-head results, of course. How do we think today's result is going to affect the table today, Sam?
Yeah, it's going to be a competitive game. What we saw last week, I would expect both teams to have gone away, watched tape, and kind of amended their game plans to perform a little bit better. So I'm interested to see, first and foremost, the starting lineups for both teams. So why don't you take us through those, Stan?
So if we look to the Manchester Titans starting offense, the O-line, we've got a few slight changes on the board today with Owen Smith missing from the lineup. So we have Josh Doling in at right tackle. At left tackle, we have Andy Jones. At left guard, we have Connor Hewitt. At centre, we've got Scott Tomlinson. And at right guard, we have Mikey Thompson. The wide receivers, starting with our wideouts, we've got Sam Penfold wearing number 10 and Manny Eze in number 88. And then your slots today are going to be Connor Greenhalgh and Brad Temple. QB, as mentioned, we have Charlie Martin. And then at running back, we have, who has lit in the Premiership on fire this year so far, Hafiz Bisiriu.
Lovely, yeah, really competitive team there. There's a lot of players who Manchester have got kind of waiting in the wings that they could bring on and could also make an impact. So, what about I'll take us through our defense. So at the defensive tackle position on the defensive line, we've got Charlie Dixon, number 99, stalwart defensive lineman for the Manchester Titans. We have Nathan Cottrell, who George Foster says played his best game as a Manchester Titan last week at Nottingham. And we also have none other than Cade Makin, GB and Manchester defensive lineman. Why don't you take us through the linebackers, Stan?
So the linebacker corps, we have Don Espina wearing number 57. We have Abdul Madugu in 18, another player who has stood out for the Titans this year with his tackles for loss and sacks. He's set the league on fire in just his first season playing adult ball. And then alongside him at linebacker, we have Yigi Ertor in number 31, a former ELF player. So a solid linebacker core all round. Do you want to take us through the defensive backs today, Sam?
Yeah, really strong box there. At corner, we have Josh Balela. Also recently kind of added to the GB squad, is impressing. He's on the leadership board for interceptions this year across the Premiership League. We've got James Williams, former East Kilbride Pirate and GB cornerback on the other side. And then at the safety spots, we've got Jerome Darko, we've got Matty Gaunt, and we've got Jack Mayfield. Darko and Mayfield both involved in the GB programme. So a very strong defensive unit there for the Manchester Titans.
Should we have a little quick talk about how these teams met last week over at the David Ross Sports Village in Nottingham?
Yeah, so as I mentioned previously, it was a very competitive game. At no point for the Titans did it feel like it was really a comfortable position to be in until perhaps late into the fourth quarter, where Bisiriyu scored his rushing touchdown from around the 30-yard line. The game last week, Nottingham struggled to get any offense going consistently, unfortunately. Quarterback Liam McGovern, he would try and generate some yardage with short and intermediate passes. He'd take the occasional shot to receiver Ben Harrison. But unfortunately for Nottingham, they just weren't able to get anything going consistently. Conversely, on the other side of the ball, Nottingham's defensive players did quite a good job of holding the Titans' offense to what the Titans would consider to be a relatively low scoreline.
No, absolutely. From the Titans' offense that we've seen can score and score quickly as they did against Newcastle, it was definitely a lower scoring game from them. I'm sure they'll be hoping to put more points up today, and likewise for Nottingham. But perhaps before we get into your keys to the game for today, Sam, Liam McGovern is nowhere to be seen from our box up in the gantry on this Nottingham Caesars offense today.
Yeah, so spotted Liam in the middle of the Caesars offensive huddle. He is not in kit, and he appears to be wearing a cast or a brace on his right wrist. Obviously, being a quarterback, relatively important to have full use and health of your right arm and wrist.
Absolutely.
So it looks as though Liam McGovern is not going to be playing the game today, and instead it is going to be Johnny Elliott, who is from the University of Nottingham. So I think that's number 16. Is that right, Stan?
I believe so, though. I've also just seen number 3 taking reps at quarterback, and that is Christian Pohl. Our knowledge of these two players and their quarterbacking ability is obviously incredibly limited. So when the teams trot out and start the game, we will have a better idea of who it is who will be heading up these lineups. So let's now head, Sam, to your keys to the game today. What will the Manchester Titans have to do if they want to seek a second victory over these Nottingham Caesars?
So the Titans are going to have to control the line of scrimmage. The offensive and defensive lines for the Titans are going to want to have a dominant game. If they can establish their dominance offensively, controlling this, quite frankly, really tough box and pass rush for the Nottingham Caesars, if the Titans can control the line of scrimmage, then they're going to be in a really good situation to run that ball and open up the passing for Charlie Martin.
I think you're completely right there. I think what Oscar Devos has been able to do with this Titans offensive line this year has been really impressive, considering this is a pretty much, would you say, an all-changed starting 5 from this time last year?
Yeah.
So to come in with a new offensive line, new running back, and be able to run the ball like they have, I think they should all be very proud of themselves and the job they've been able to do so far this season.
Absolutely, yeah. Tough spot to be in, replacing pretty much the entire offensive line, especially with Owen Smith, struggling with an injury to return at the minute. So, yeah, that's going to be one of the massive keys to the game for the Titans. Equally, as I mentioned, they're going to want to slow down that pass rush. Nottingham do have a good number of very impressive defensive linemen and box players who can cause huge problems for this box. John Winter, number 97, is a big problem. We've got number 92, Bobby Okafor, who's also from the Nottingham Trent University. Some strong box players there. And finally, the Titans are going to want to bracket Ben Harrison. So bracket meaning to play a defensive player close to Ben, mark him, perhaps stick with him in what's called man-to-man coverage, and then have some support over the top with one of the Manchester's safeties, maybe Jack Mayfield or Jerome Darko. But however they do it, they're going to want to control the amount of receptions that Ben Harrison can have, and therefore his impact on the game.
Incredible player is Ben Harrison. We saw him whipping out some one-handed catches before the game as well here from our viewpoint. For the Nottingham Caesars, Sam, if they want to tie this series 1-1 for the year, what are the keys for the Caesars and their side?
Yeah, so similarly to the Titans, the Caesars are going to want to control the line of scrimmage. This Titans box is formidable. Cade Makin, Charlie Dixon, Abdul Madugu, some really, really impressive players. If the Caesars can find a way to control this box, they put themselves in a really good position to not only be competitive throughout the game offensively and defensively, but when they get down into the red zone inside the 10 and 20 yard lines, they're going to be able to shift the ball there. They're going to need to shut down Hafiz Bissariu, the Manchester Titans running back, who's really impressed so far. And, we thought that McGovern was going to need to threaten the defense, have an established passing game and really, make the Titans' defense have to respect that passing game. But I suppose we'll replace that with Johnny Elliott and see what impact Johnny Elliott can have on the game in Liam McGovern's absence.
Obviously, last week for the Caesars, we saw a relatively strong rushing attack. They had a few drives where they were able to slowly but successfully march the ball down the field. But ultimately, it was the passing game that cost them in several turnovers. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out today with the lack of a regular starting quarterback. So a couple distinctive offensive formations from the Caesars last week. We saw them come out in that two-back pro set, but then we also saw a few whispers of the go-go offense popularized by Brendan Marion this year at the University of Nevada at Las Vegas, that you see the two running backs in sidecar formation. So it'll be interesting to see how much of this we see today, whether we see this the continuation of the pro set, the go-go, or whether they're going to have to open a new page in the offense with the lack of their regular starting quarterback, Liam McGovern.
Yeah, well, while we've got a minute, while we're waiting for the Caesars to be ready to take the field, I can talk to you a little bit about my conversation with Grant Lawless, who's the offensive coordinator for the Nottingham Caesars. So when I spoke to Grant about his thoughts on the previous game, he and his team believe that, there's just a couple of key things that they want to take from the game and add into this game to improve their plan and hopefully, have a bit more success offensively. When I asked him how they were going to, what his keys to securing the game today was, securing the win today, it was really kind of a very short and quick answer. He just wanted the team to stay focused, stick to fundamentals, and execute, and they believe that if they do that, then they can come away from this game with a win.
Very mysterious answer there from Grant. Not wanting to give away too much about their game plan for today, it seems.
Yeah, and when I asked Grant what he thought about who on the Nottingham team could make an impact today, he mentioned that it could be really a handful of guys. He says that they have faith and trust in all of their offensive skill position players who are going to be in a position to step up and make a play. On the other side of that coin, when I asked Grant about the Titans players he thought could create a big impact, he similarly didn't name anybody specifically, but he said that he understands, and the team understands, that the Titans have a lot of players who can cause them difficulty, and so they're going to have to stay locked in and respect whoever comes onto the pitch.
Absolutely. And how did your conversation with Titans head coach, first-year Titans head coach, George Foster, go?
Yeah, so I asked George about the game last week, and he felt like they did leave quite a lot of yards on the field last week, and he wanted to go back and understand why they didn't execute. So now we have the Nottingham Caesars coming out onto the pitch. Led out by Captain Henry Scanlon. New kit this year for the Nottingham Caesars. I must admit, it's difficult from up here. I know that the Nottingham Caesars typically would wear burgundy and yellow or gold. It does look a little brown from up here. Maybe later on down on the pitch, I'll have a look. Maybe it'll look a little bit more burgundy from up there. Grant won't like me saying that. I think Grant sorts out their kits, and he won't like me saying that it's brown. But
personally, I think it's a strong addition to their already strong white kit, which I think is it's rather agreeably one of the strongest kits in the United Kingdom game at the moment.
Very, very nice uniform, that white kit.
And here we come, your Manchester Titans. Camera now focused on head coach George Foster, with Abdul Madugu in close pursuit.
Yeah, Abdul out here as today's sword bearer.
Madugu is handed the sword. This result will mean everything for the Titans today in a closely contested Premiership where they are tied with the Coventry Phoenix.
In a division where games are so tightly contested, Titans will not only be keen to come away from this game with a win, but they'll want to establish themselves as a team that's progressed on from.
And here they come onto the field, led by Abdul Madugu, closely followed by right guard Mikey Thompson.
Waving blue milk flags. For anyone who's unaware of the blue milk, it's part of the Titans culture, led by head juice king, self-proclaimed milkman, Ola Barju.
The starting offense trotting out now. Here comes Hafiz Bisiriyu, no doubt primed for another strong game today. And here comes Mani Eze, the big wide out for the Manchester Titans. Brad Temple, another former Lancashire Buccaneer. Connor Greenhouse, Charlie Martin's favourite target so far in the Premiership this year, leading the team in receiving yards. And here comes Sam Penfold, scorer of the Titans' sole passing touchdown from last time out at the David Ross Sports Village. And here comes today's starting quarterback for the Manchester Titans, Charlie Martin, in his debut season, starting as the Manchester Titans quarterback. He backed up yourself, Sam, last year, but he has taken the reins of the offense himself for this season. And there we have it.
Charlie has spent the past few years at University of Central Lancashire, UCLan, with the Rams. And he has been slowly developing. He's a really hard worker. He deeply cares about the team performance, about his personal performance. And he's just a young quarterback who I'm keen to watch his development and his progression. And he's had a good start to the year with Manchester this year. You know, you can see the points where he's still learning, still growing. You know, he's making the mistakes that you would expect a first-year young Premiership starting quarterback to make. And the more that he can get rid of those mistakes one at a time, the more success he's going to find in the Premiership.
Today's Manchester Titans captains, wearing number 17, the specialist kicker and punter on GB squad, we have Alex Lenkowski. Wearing number 99 next to him, we have defensive lineman Charlie Dixon, number 25, Jack Mayfield, and number 56, starting centre, Scott Tomlinson.
Yeah, strong group of captains. The Titans have a few more captains and they rotate through those captains. But they feel it's good to have leadership groups, small leadership groups within the team that can both hold their positions accountable, but also their positional players can go to these captains and, look to them for leadership.
Opposite them now, obviously, the Caesars captains. We have number 97, Josh Winter. We have number 3, Christian Poll. Number 7, Ben Harrison, who we spoke about earlier. And I'm just waiting till he peels back round. We have number 13, who I've not got a number for.
I don't have a number for number 13 either. Let me just...
We had a few adjustments sent to ourselves before the stream, but we shall find out for you as soon as we can.
Yeah, I have no number 13, but it looks as though Nottingham... Oh, they're just showing them the coin. They've got to tell them which side is heads and tails.
Tails never fails until it does.
Titans have won the toss, and they have elected to defer. So that means that
Tomlinson given the kicking signal.
The Caesars will get to choose in the first half if they want to receive the ball or kick to Manchester. They've elected to receive. So Manchester will kick off to begin the first half, which means that at the start of the second half, Manchester will get to receive the ball to begin, which I personally, my method and tactic as a head coach is I prefer to defer, put faith in my defense, and hope that my offense can steal a score or two towards the end of the first half. And then when they come back in the second half and receive, you can potentially go 2 or 3 scores up early in the second half. Really puts your opposition on the back foot.
And the Titans kicking team is now slowly walking out onto the field as the Caesars set up to receive, with two returners back deep to attempt to return Lankowski's kick.
Yeah, we've got returner Sam Fraser, who's a GB player. He's a running back, and he'll feature heavily today for the Caesars offense. And we've got Joshua Oluwatosin, who is a former Loughborough receiver. He also was part of the GB program until he suffered an unfortunate injury. He's worked his way back from that injury and is now playing again for the Nottingham Caesars at receiver. A dangerous weapon, one of their leading receivers last week behind Ben Harrison.
So the expectation here from the Manchester Titans will be a deep kick, possibly even a touchback for Alex Lankowski, who has had no shortage of them in this year's Premiership campaign.
Yeah, really strong leg. If it's not a touchback here, it's designed.
And we are underway. Lankowski kicks it high, a spinning kick returned by one of the up men. Number 36 for Titans comes in, and they swarm on the ball. And despite the high kick, the Titans end up with a field position advantage, making the tackle at around the 20-yard line.
Yeah, number 36, Sam Jones there, made the tackle. First-year running back, never played the sport until this year, making plays early on special teams. George Foster will like that as James Dean's defense lines up here. Let's see what Nottingham's offensive coordinator, Grant Lawless, calls up with his new quarterback, Johnny Elliott. Well, it's not Johnny Elliott. We see that is Christian Poll, number 3 in at quarterback.
It is indeed. And the ball is handoff, and the Titans swarm all over that Nottingham running back.
Guess
that
who?
is Wellington Tafireyi, of course, who had a number of successful attempts last week, a former Great Britain player.
Yeah, guess who? Abdul Madugu making his first play of the game. A tackle in the backfield. Madugu has a lot of tackles for a loss this year. Second and long for the Caesars offense.
Caesars set up with one back in the backfield. We have 2 receivers to the left with a tight end attached and a sole receiver to the wide portion of the field. Notice Ben Harrison on the close side of the field there. QB drops back, passes it out to Tafireyi. Tafireyi secures the ball, and that looks for a first down for the Nottingham Caesars. So after that successful tackle for a loss by Abdul Madugu, Tafireyi receives the swing pass and advances the ball from a Caesars first down. There we go. To our new quarterback today is 1 for 1.
Yeah, looked like a designed swing pass to me. Christian Pole dropped back. He didn't have his eyes anywhere else. Offloaded that ball to the running back. A nice game for a first down.
3 receivers to the left with a tight end attached. We have a sole receiver to the wide portion of the field. Pole scans the field, takes the snap, and it's bobbled. It's recovered by Taffy Ray, who tries to advance it, but he is taken down at the line of scrimmage for net 0 gain. Perhaps victory from the jaws of defeat there, and what could have been a very negative play for the Nottingham Caesars there, Sam.
Yeah, Madugu and Espina both there on the tackle, securing the running back. No gain for the Caesars there. See what they dial up on second down.
3 receivers to the wide side of the field. Harrison again on his own to the short side. No tight end in here for the Caesars on a big second and long. The snap is low, but Pole recovers. There's a pass out to the receiver. Oh, and he's cleaned out by Titans number 0, Josh Balela.
Awesome hit by Balela there. Read it the whole way. He was actually threatening to blitz early in the cadence, just making Christian Pole have to double check out there. Joss has stayed down close to the receivers, recognised that screen pass early, come and lay a big hit on Sam Fraser. Sam Fraser pops back up, ready for a 3rd and 10.
Perhaps a bit more air underneath the football than Pole would have liked to give there, giving Joss plenty of time to break on the football. We again have 3 receivers to the top of your screen here, 1 running back in the backfield, and it is 3rd and long. Titan showing blitz with Madugu down. He reverses now. Titans send 4. Pole hauls it deep, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, ball intended
nearest
for
target.
Rob Pygott. Didn't really ever threaten the deep there. I think the cornerback, James William, got a good press on him. And unfortunately for the Caesars, that is 3 and out. They'll punt the ball to the Titans offense, to the Titans return man, Sam Penfold here. See if he can get a return and get some good field position for the Titans.
Caesars calling for 1 more from the sideline on their first punt of the game. With now complete 11-man punt team. The huddle breaks, and it is specialist number 37. I believe that's Will Morgan.
It is Will Morgan, yes.
The snap is low, and it's low. Number 37, Will Morgan, going back to recover the ball, and he's nailed by a team of Titans. The ball is loose. And it's returned by a Caesar. Number 2 somehow manages to get the ball out, kick the football, and he's pinned the Titans back within their own 10. The ball rolled out of the 6-yard line. Not the play the Caesars were intending for.
I'd say this, Stan. If that play stands, that is a phenomenal play by Sam Fraser.
That is outstanding.
Awareness to pick up that football, and not only to gain significant yardage, but to recognise he's not going to make the first down. He's not going to put the Caesars defence in a good position. Punt the ball away. Sam Fraser has punted for the Caesars in the past. And not only has he punted the ball away, he has pinned the Titans inside their own 10-yard line. Unbelievable play.
Will Morgan, watch out. You might have pressure coming for your starting job if he can punt like that. And the Titans come out in their famous wide 2x2 spread. Martin in the backfield, accompanied by, of course, Hafiz Basiriou. And they check the play call to the sideline as play caller Alex Challenge signals in a new play.
Charlie Martin will be looking to create some room here, give him a bit of breathing room.
And the play's up the middle. Basiriou carries, and it looks to be for a meager 2-yard gain. Straight up the middle there. Obviously, we've got some difficult field position to work with now. If the Titans were to score, it would end up having to be close to an 85-yard drive, given the 90-length field here at Belle Vue Speedway.
Yeah, here's where we're going to see that battle in the trenches between the Manchester Titans offensive line and this strong Caesars defensive line.
We see 3 receivers now to the short side of the field, and we have Manaeze on his own on the wide side. They fake the handoff. Penfold receives the screen pass, and Penfold carries the ball up as far. Looks to me to be a 4-yard gain, setting up a 3rd and medium for the Manchester Titans.
Good blocking there from Brad Temple. Just held that defensive player in place long enough for Penfold to make a play and gain some yardage. So we got 3rd and short.
It looks to be 3rd and 4 from my perspective. Trips again to the short side of the field. Martin takes the snap, hands it off to Pisirio, who is swarmed upon by the Nottingham Caesars, who will likely force an early Manchester Titans punt.
Yeah, a contingency of Caesars defenders there. Sam Penfold, former Titan and current GP. Sam Pearson, former Manchester Titan and current GB defensive player. Henry Scanlon in on the tackle. Titans calling for one more for their punt unit too. George Foster's going to want to get this unit under control. I would expect them to call a timeout here if they're not moving much quicker.
Tomlinson jogs on to the field at Nathan Duke's command, and it looks as if Ben Harrison signalling for the flag, and the flag is given. The Titans will likely be called for a delay of game penalty.
Yeah, this will set them back, push Lenkowski a bit closer, possibly inside his own end zone. So the snap has to be clean here. We've already seen some long snapping issues this year for the Titans.
We have indeed.
Some would arguably say that it probably cost them the first game at Coventry Phoenix. So they've got to get a good snap from Matty Gaunt to Alex Lenkowski here.
There is very little room for Lenkowski to play with here. Harrison deep to return. Lenkowski takes this clean snap and delivers a short kick, crosses the 30, past the 40, and it is finally downed by number 27, Matthew Gaunt. And the Titans' defense now jogs back onto the field, where they will attempt to hold the Caesars back as they sent to advance it from the 40-yard line.
Yeah, so this is somewhat similar to what we saw in the first game. We're only 2 drives in, of course. But we saw both teams trying to establish an offense and make a little wiggle room here and there, but nothing consistent yet.
Here we are. The Caesars are back in their pro-style 2-back set now. Paul takes the snap and fakes the handoff, keeps it himself to the short side of the field and advances it for a 2-yard gain. So there we go. Caesars back in their 2-back set, which we saw a lot of last week. We have Taffy Ray accompanied there.
Yeah, I can see quarterback Pole there having a chat with offensive coordinator Grant Lawless. Don't think he was supposed to keep the ball in that play. It worked out well, but he was looking around for the running back who had already left the backfield. So we'll see what they call up.
Here we go. The Caesars back to 1 running back in the backfield, 2 receivers to the top, and Ben Harrison on his own to the bottom of the field. The ball's handed off to Taffy Ray. Taffy Ray past the 30, through a few Titans tackles and downs himself just past the 25 at the 24-yard line. A whopping carry for Taffy Ray to set the Caesars up on the fringe of the red zones. The Caesars with favourable field position here already due to a short Titans punt.
Yeah, good tackle by Jack Mayfield there, coming across from his far side safety position to clean up there and potentially save a bigger run or a touchdown.
Caesars jog back out with 2 to the wide side again. Pole takes the snap, hands it off to Taffy Ray. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Taffy Ray is tackled after a 3-yard gain, but flags fly on the field.
Yeah, got to assume that's going to be either a block in the back or a holding on the left-hand side of this offensive line. Think receiver Ben Harrison.
That is a hold call there from the Whitecap today.
I think that might be Ben Harrison on DB James Williams there. Could be mistaken, but either way, Caesars is getting marched back. In good field position here, so the Caesars have to get one more first down, I think, to securely put them in field goal range. Although we do know that Will Morgan does have a strong leg. Caesars are gonna really want to come away from this drive with points.
Pole with 3 receivers to the left of the bottom of your screen there on the short side. Taffy Ray alongside him in the backfield. Pole drops back, pulls it deep towards Harrison, and that ball is not one that is catchable for Harrison on this occasion. We have James Williams in coverage there, and it brings about a second and a whopping 20 yards to go for the Caesars here.
Yeah, so we see that Pole can pass the ball. Nice tight spiral on the ball there. He's just got to lead Ben Harrison there, bring the ball down a little bit more and give at least Ben the, because Ben has a huge wingspan. He's going to be able to make impressive catches.
Paul calls for the snap. We have a hard count there. 3 false snap calls from Pole. For turning to the sideline, he takes the snap low to Taffy Ray. It's handed off for a 4-yard gain there. So we've got a drop back pass there on first down, and we've got a run on second down to bring out another 3rd and long here for the Caesars. This is not a situation that any offense ever plans to be in 3rd and long, and it's got to narrow the playbook down a little bit here for Grant Lawless, the Caesars offensive coordinator, wouldn't you say, Sam?
Yeah, there's not really a great deal of plays that you plan in practice and in the playbook that are suited for this situation. So, a draw play or something that's going to put them in position maybe to put them in a field goal range would be a good option here.
Titans
got that
send
design
5.
swing.
And it's battered down by Jack Mayfield. That was certainly a pickle ball. I just don't think he expected that ball to come anywhere near him.
No, I think that Christian Pole has to look at the defender who sat over the top of that part of the field where the running back was heading to. He would have seen that James Williams was sat there waiting and probably would have thought twice about throwing that ball.
So with 4th and long now for the Caesars, the offense stays out, Pole stays out. No kicking unit to be seen here. What will the play call be here? We've got 2 running backs in the backfield. We've got Taffy Ray accompanied by Sam Fraser. Pole takes the snap, hands it off to Fraser, who is swarmed upon instantly by the Titans D-line. And I believe that was number 75, Tio Benjamin with the tackle.
Yeah.
A run on 4th and long. Not something I expected we'd be seeing today.
Yeah, a couple of good runs on that drive for the Caesars offense, but when it came down to it, they weren't able to overcome that early penalty in the drive, and so Titans take over here inside their own half.
Same offense that we saw for that first drive. They're back out in their signature, if you will, widespread. And Martin prepares for the snap.
Freeze play called.
The check to the sideline. Alex Challenge signaling a new play. The offense resets. And Martin prepares for the snap. Their handoff to Bissari. And a much better chunk of yards here. The pile is still moving. Andy Jones there getting involved. And that seems to be a 4-yard carry for Bissari on first down. You can't ask for much more than that on first down, can you, Sam?
No, and that's part of the Manchester Titans' entire offensive philosophy is gain 4 yards per play, and that will result in a first down every time. So
I've just heard from producer Kieran that it's not, in fact, Christian Pole wearing the number 3 jersey with the rosters we've been provided. So apologies on that. If and when we find out, we will let you know who it is stepping in as the signal caller. Temple in motion. And it's handed off to Bissari, and he's swarmed upon again by the Nottingham Caesars defence. So 1 successful carry, but swarmed upon on second down to set up a 3rd and medium for the Titans offence here.
Yeah, nowhere to go there for the Titans offence. Third and about 6 yards to go here. Not terrible field position to be in. Titans got to complete this, otherwise they'll have to send the ball back over to the Caesars.
Trips to the short side of the field here. Bissariu is out. We have a new running back in the game. We've got Josh Welch of the Manchester Tyrants, who swings out. Martin hauls it deep, and it's picked off by number 6 for the Caesars. Still carrying the football. We've past the 40, past halfway line, all across the 40, 30, 20, and he's pushed out at the 20. We have no name for number 6 in the Caesars. However, that is a strong interception returned back into Titans territory. Of course, we've seen Martin have a lot of luck early on in ball games, especially with these deep posts. But unfortunately, nothing to yield.
I'm not sure where Martin was trying to go with the ball there. The receiver on the outside here, I couldn't tell whether it was Connor Greenhalgh or Sam Penfold, but there was no option over the middle, so unsure whether that's Martin's expected a receiver to be in that place or whether he's just made an unsuccessful throw there.
Caesars out in a condensed offense now. Tight to the right hash. Quarterback takes it deep, rolls out, passes it, and the ball is knocked out. I doubt that'll be deemed a fumble. due to the runner not completing a football move, so that'll be marked as an incompletion. Sam, what's the difference between an incompletion? Where does the line get drawn between incompletion and fumble?
So the player who is receiving the football, receiving the forward pass, needs to have clear possession of the football. So that football needs to be tucked away securely, not moving around or bobbling around. And the player needs to have made a football move. Now, typically that could be taking a step or two after you've caught it and secured it, or it could be making a cut upfield. Any kind of move that would suggest you are now in control of your body and not focused on the ball.
Taffy Ray and Fraser in the black backfield now in that split back formation. QB calls for the snap. Hands off to Taffy Ray, who carries it past the 20 and into the Titans red zone. Taken down on the 15-yard line with 2 to 3 yards.
Tackle made there down by Josh Balela, coming from his cornerback spot. Good to see the cornerbacks for both teams getting involved in the tackling game. I've always said, Stan, that cornerbacks need to go over and instead of grabbing the football bag before every practice, grab the tackle bag.
Absolutely. Similar formation now for the Caesars. The same 2 backs in the backfield, and we have 2 receivers now to the bottom side of your screen with Ben Harrison out wide. Receiver comes in motion across the face of the QB, setting himself on the right side of the line. Harrison on an island by himself, pulls it deep for the same receiver, and Harrison calls for PI, but there is no flag to be seen from the officials. 3 Titans in the area and only 1 Ben Harrison.
Yeah, Harrison found a little spot in the defense there, but it was only there for a very brief second, and the quarterback for the Caesars was going to have to deliver that ball on a rope to get it in there. I'm not sure that Harrison was the right read there. That being said, I think scheming touches to Harrison and taking shots at him is a good idea. So if I'm the Caesars here in this position, I might take a shot to Harrison here.
We've got Pharrell, James, and Gambia in coverage on Harrison, with Williams moved inside to cover the slot. QB takes the handoff. A slightly fumbled snap. And he's taken down by none other than Abdul Madugu on 4th down. There is a flag on the play. Any idea what for here, Sam?
It's in the area of holding. So we'll see.
Well, that's it. It looks like the Titans will decline that holding call, bringing about a first down for the Titans, because, of course, the defense got the stop on 4th down, causing a turnover on downs, and Martin and the offense trot back out in hope of some points this drive. It's now the 3rd Titans offensive possession, I believe, and similarly poor starting field position, taking control of the football just on the 15-yard line.
Yeah, the Titans need to either make a big play here, get themselves into some good field position to upset the current balance of the game, or kind of trickle the ball down the field and pick apart this Caesars defense.
The Caesars defense sitting in off coverage. Bissariu faked the handoff. Martin keeps it himself and manages to carry it no further than the line of scrimmage there. Looked to be some miscommunication in the backfield there.
Yeah, Martin is a confident runner, but he's not the guy that you would ideally want running the ball in your offense on, say, option reads. Not at this point of the field. Down by the red zone where you might run a speed option or a toss read. That would be a good place to call that.
Got trips to the bottom side of your field here. And an update from around the ground. We have Coventry Phoenix 14, East Kilbride Pirates on 20 points. So another Premiership North game in progress there. Temple in motion. And it's a yo-yo. He's back towards the same side of the field. Emotion from Bissariu. Fake the handoff. Sold me there with the fake. Temple takes the ball. And that's a strong play on 2nd down for the Titans offense. Yeah. For a 7-yard gain or thereabouts. A little trickeration from Alex Challenge there.
Really nice play design, really nice execution. Martin got the ball away just in time. Notice, though, he did get knocked down by the defender who was in pursuit. Did get up a little slow. Titans currently have no other rostered quarterbacks, so Martin has to stay healthy. Otherwise, the Titans could be in trouble. He is still in the game.
Martin takes the snap. Bissari looks for the handoff. And the ball is thrown and no receivers are in the area. No doubt this is going to be an intentional grounding call.
It will be. So it looked to me there as though Mane Eze was supposed to run probably a screen and go, something we saw the Titans score against the East Kilbride with Eze earlier on this season. But it looks like Eze's got a bit confused. He thought that Conor Greenhalgh, number 11, was supposed to be running the go part of the screen. Good for Eze because he is taking responsibility and accountability for that. It could be, though, however, we're wrong. And that penalty was pass interference on the Nottingham Caesars defence. That gives the Titans a first down. Very
costly penalty to give
very
away at
costly
this point.
penalty to give up there.
Titans back to the spread. Martin calls for the snap. It's a screen pass to Eze, who breaks a tackle, but is wrapped up by the second man in to make the challenge, and allows for a net 1.5 yard gain there, Sam.
So what Martin is doing here is he's just playing keep away. So he'll get to the line of scrimmage, he'll assess the defense, and he'll count the numbers. So as we look at the bottom of the screen here towards number 11, Conor Greenhalgh and Mane Eze, he's going to count how many players are down here. Well, we've got number 30 in coverage and we've got number 6. A 2-on-2 against the Titans receivers might not be the matchup he's looking for, so he might go in the box here, and he does.
Great call there, Sam. And Bissariu, another tote for the Titans workhorse. And he looks to gain 4 yards, and that'll bring up a third and just beyond what we'd call a third and medium here. So Caesar's defense has been lining up in a lot of soft coverage here so far. DB's lining up 5 or 6 yards off because they know and they've experienced how the Titans can beat them deep, as we saw last week with Martin's over-the-top touchdown, Sam Penfold. But equally, they've not given up anything underneath here, despite the fact they're sitting off. Trips to the wide portion of the field at the top of your screen here. Eze on his own to the bottom of the field. Martin takes the snap. Delayed handoff to Bissariu. And he's swarmed upon once more, and that'll bring up a 4th down for Titans, and the punt unit trots back onto the field with Lankowski set to deliver the kick.
Titans run a draw play there. So a draw play is when you try to convince the defense that you are going to pass the ball. So your receivers will go downfield as if they're going to run to try and receive the ball. The quarterback will make it look as though he's still looking to pass, and then late they'll hand the ball off to the running back, hoping to create a huge gap.
Clean snap to Lankowski, who hauls it up, and it's spiraling around the air. It lands on the 32-yard line and sputters out of bounds. A few uncharacteristically short punts for Lankowski today, Sam.
Yeah, it could be the wind down there is swirling a little bit stronger than we think it was. You know, this weather in the lead up to the game here wasn't so great. Could be maybe he's just not getting a clean boot on the ball. He will be beating himself up about any short punts or shortcomings more than anybody else will. So he'll go back to the kicking net and keep his leg warm as we see the Titans defense take the field here.
Titans defense come out with 3 down defensive linemen. We've got 5 defenders now on the line of scrimmage for the Titans. A lot of pressure coming. And they send what looks to be 6. It's handed off to Wellington Tafirei, who somehow gets through that 6-man rush from the Titans for a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, nice vision and patience there. He has managed to find a little lane, and you can never complain about picking up 5 yards on first down. Gives you a second and about 5 or 6 here, which, if you have that confidence, great spot to take a shot here.
That was a stronger run that looked to be at first point. He managed to wriggle through for those extra few yards to bring up that second and medium. 2 back to the backfield, and the Caesars catch themselves with their own game. We see the hard count there. The quarterback calling a fake cadence to try and cause the defense to jump off sides. And who does it catch but the Nottingham Caesars receivers on the bottom half of the screen there.
Yeah, Grant Lawless, offensive coordinator for the Nottingham Caesars, had lots of success with this offense in the past few years in Division 1. I know for a fact through conversations with Grant and his team that they like getting teams to jump offside, that getting those free shots and those free penalties Manchester Titans showing some discipline here. Might be something they want to go away from.
We've not seen a single flinch here so far. 5 defenders on the line of scrimmage now for the Titans, unafraid to show this pressure early and often. QB takes the snap, handed off to Taffy Ray, flags fly, and it looks to be a false start again for the Caesars. What was a first and medium is now moved back to second and long, and will now look to be a third and even longer.
Yeah, disaster there for the Caesars after a good gain on first down. 2 back-to-back penalties. First penalty, the false start was on the left-hand side of the offensive line. I think it was left tackle and tight end. This time, right tackle. So Caesars are going to want to make sure that they are disciplined, and hopefully they can get a drive going here.
3 receivers now to the short side of the field, with 1 on their own to the top side. We see Ben Harrison again on the bottom. One of the keys to today's game. Handed off on the jet sweep to number 2. Madugu's in pursuit. Madugu is able to wrap up, but only after a nice gain from the Nottingham Caesars on second down.
Yeah,
Set up
that's
a third and short.
breathed some life there into the Nottingham Caesars sideline, which is something they need. Really good position on this third and short here. If Caesars could convert here, the momentum is with them. They are very close, if not beyond the halfway line.
Taffy Ray again in the backfield for the Nottingham Caesars and trips to the short side of the field at the top of your screens. Harrison on his own to the bottom half. With a lot of field to play with him. Williams in soft coverage. Quarterback drops back and it's straight away out to number 2, Sam Fraser.
And they have spotted him short of the first down. So the Caesars have a tough choice here. Are they going to punt the ball away? It certainly looks like they are. They're not going to risk giving Manchester's offense good field position by taking over where the Caesars offense last left off. So the Titans will bring on their return team. Seems to be some confusion. There's no returner back, so maybe the Titans are not trying to return. And special teams coordinator Ewan Chisholm. Here we go. We see Sam Penfold running back there to play return man.
With just 1 yard to go, the fake must be awfully tempting. But no, it's a kick from Will Morgan. Nice and high. Fair catch called for by Sam Penfold, protecting him from any oncoming defenders, but sacrificing the football there at what looks to be the 13-yard line. So what was the reason behind taking the fair catch in that situation?
I think Penfold has assessed the flight of the ball, how high it is, how quickly it's moving. He's seen that number 22 for the Caesars, Andrew Wilkins, is in pursuit, and he has decided, I need to make sure I secure this ball in this field position. So instead of trying to risk a return where Andrew Wilkins could lay a hit on him and, potentially knock that ball loose as he's trying to corral it, he has taken the safe option, given himself the safety and the security of having an opportunity to catch the ball without any contact made, but he does sacrifice the ability to return the ball for additional yardage by taking that fair catch signal. Fair catch signal is a nice big wave of the arm up above his head to signify to the referees, I want an opportunity to catch this ball without being touched, and I won't advance it. That's his end of the bargain.
And that is the end of the first quarter. The field is flipped, and now a word from one of our sponsors for today's stream, the Pitman Flannel Company, who are here today at Belle Vue Speedway with a stall. We've partnered with the Pitman Flannel Company, where timeless style meets rugged comfort. From the sidelines to the great outdoors, Pitman's premium flannels keep you warm, sharp, and ready for anything. Built for legends, worn by Titans.
I was looking at their stall earlier on in the concourse. They have some really nice beanie hats. There's a mustard beanie hat I'm very, very keen to go and check out a little bit more at half-time, Stan.
And Martin drops back, thrown towards the trip side, and it is battered away. What a heads-up play. A DB playing out of phase there, number 32. We've got Harry Johnson in coverage there. Really heads-up play there. The ball comes in from Martin. Unable to turn his head around, but the hands are in there, ready to make a play on the ball. And it brings about an incompletion.
Those plays are really nice to watch from everyone's perspective. Obviously, the Titans want to come away with a catch and potentially, a big gain there. But Martin's put that ball on the money. Brad Temple is in a great position to catch that ball. But Harry Johnson, just perfect trail coverage there to break up the pass. Really nice play from the Caesars
Martin
defense.
flips Bisiriou, and he sets up the counter for Bisiriou, taking that dummy step to the outside, led by two pullers. And he's brought down a few whistles there, but the pile kept on moving. Nice little game there for the Titans on second down to bring up a third and medium.
Yeah, this is a manageable situation here, but you've got to get your pass call, or you've got to get your play call right, should I say. Otherwise, Titans will be kicking this ball away, and once again, we'll probably end up putting the Caesars offense in good field position.
The Caesars DBs are sitting quite far off here. We've seen a little bit of press man, but not a lot so far. We've got 30 down in the box, but the safeties in corners are playing off. Oh, Martin's under pressure, and he takes the sack. Very close to the end zone. And he's sacked and brought down on what looks to be the 2 or 3 yard line there. Imminent pressure straight away. And the sack there from Gus Opong on the Caesars defense. A crucial play in this situation. And that brings up a rather scary 4th and long for the Titans. And this is not the first time today that we've seen Lenkowski backed up in his own end zone.
Yeah, really nice play there from Opong. Takes Martin down, puts Lenkowski in really tricky field position here.
Takes the snap clean. And that is by far the strongest punt of the today. And lovely spire from Lenkowski, causing Ben Harrison to move the ball. And what a tackle. Open field, 1-on-1. You cannot ask for better than that. And that is Clements Magaji of the Titans, defensive back, stepping up and playing special teams today. A great field flipping punt and an equally good chase down an open field tackle. 1-on-1 with one of the nation's best.
Yeah, great tackle there by Magaji. Ben Harrison is no slouch. Really is a very impressive receiver. And you might not be able to see it from up here, but Harrison is at least 6'2", and he is a very well-built receiver. So great tackle on a big guy.
Joshua Oluwatosin on his own to the wide side of the field here. The running back is flipped. Motion across the field. And it's design swinging. Oh, it's almost picked off. Who else but Jack Mayfield, almost to add to his tally of interceptions for the year. That's 2 that have hit his hands today. A number of heads-up plays, and I'm sure there will be some yield for him before the game is over. Another design swing. Another near interception there for the Titans defense.
So very similar to the play we saw Matthew Gaughan get his interception for a touchdown against the East Kilbride Pirates. The quarterback here has thrown that swing pass 3 times now, but 2 of them have been very high risk.
The snap is good. The handoff is made to number 2, Sam Fraser, for no gain. The pile is still moving. Few light whistles there. Be interesting to see where they spot the ball here.
Yeah, I could be mistaken, Stan. I thought I saw a flag come in.
There is a flag on the near side of the field there, just in front of Titans head coach George Foster on the 50-yard line. It'll be interesting to see what the officials call here.
From that position, you'd think it's either ineligible formation on the offense or it is offside on the defense.
Few claps from the Titans defense from Belela to the bottom of your field, which signal that it's going in favour of the Titans.
Yeah, ineligible formation, which means that the Caesars didn't meet the requirements for the formation that they've lined up in.
You must, of course, have 7 risk players on the line of scrimmage. And it's jet motion. Tackle is made with 1 yard gain to bring out a 4th and long. Now, this has been a game of short drive so far. Neither offense has been able to move anything sustainably. Both defenses have played outstandingly so far. Hence why we say I have the 2 goose eggs on the field right now.
One of these teams is going to have to break the stalemate. Titans going to get an opportunity here after that 3rd down stop.
There's a timeout called for, I believe. Looks to be called by the Caesars, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I would say that considering that they're huddling and the Titans defense isn't with either James Dean, defensive coordinator, or George Foster, head coach, I'd wager that the Caesars have burnt one of their 3 first-half timeouts there.
Huddling on a 4th and long situation. Now, to me, that would indicate that's not just going to be your regular punting opportunity.
No, if they come out in a punt formation, you'd expect something a little bit tricky.
The offense is back out.
The offense is back out. And so, first and foremost, what you're initially thinking is, are they going to try and make us jump with a hard count? Are they going to try and, get us to jump offsides over to their side of the football before the ball is snapped and get a free play?
And we've got number 10, Sam Penfold, attempting to sprint off field. He stays on the field at an unfamiliar safety spot for the regular wide receiver. 81 goes in motion. The snap is called for. Quarterback drops back, hauls it deep, and it's out of bounds. The nearest defender for the Manchester Titans is Pharrell James Ngambia.
Intended receiver, Joshua Alabatosin there. Unfortunately, the quarterback just puts it out of bounds. If he manages to get that ball downfield a little bit more and keep it in, Alabatosin's got a shot. But unfortunately, no dice. Titans offense is going to take over here. Best field position of the day, I think.
I believe you might be right there. Much better field position. We've seen them backed up in their own half on numerous occasions. They now take the ball 2 yards shy of the 45-yard line, which is in this game the halfway line. Martin takes the snap. Receivers running deep. The ball is in the vicinity of Connor Greenhouse, but falls incomplete. And a rather dejected Greenhouse sat on the floor after attempting to bring that ball back in from unplayable territory there. 2nd and long for the Titans.
Martin puts the ball in nice position with regards to it being a back shoulder throw. So, Greenhouse should be running down the field, looking over his left shoulder, and Martin's going to put that ball over his right shoulder so that he can turn last minute, but it was just a bit too far out of bounds on that one.
Trips to the top of your screen now on the short side of the field, and it's that counter play again we saw earlier on. It's Bissariu. He breaks a tackle. He's down the sideline at the 40, and he's tackled out of bounds at the 30, and that is what makes Hafiz Biriasu the workhorse of this Titans offense. That is why he receives the toke to the ball that he does.
Got around the edge there, broke the tackle of Andrew Wilkins, which frankly, Stan is, having played against Andrew a good couple of times, he is an impressive tackler. Manages to break that tackle, get around the edge. Nice game for the Titans. Momentum here. Can it capitalise? Can they capitalise in a score?
Fresh back into the game now, taking over from Bissariu. We've got Josh Welsh of the Tyrants again. Welsh with the totes, and he's tackled for a 1-yard gain. As the Titans here, Sam, are you going to try and play conservatively? Are you going to try and get yourself into Alex Lenkowski's field goal range? We can see him warming up now just off screen in front of us. Or do you go for the all-crucial 6 points here?
So Alex Challenge, the offensive coordinator, will stay aggressive, and so will Charlie Martin. That is the entire ethos of the Titans' offense. However, they'll know that Lenkowski is in field goal range here.
It's another tote for Welsh. Back up the middle, much more successful this time. And that looks to be a 7-yard gain or so for the Titans to bring up a 3rd and short, opening up all corners for the offense here. The Titans, of course, famous for their short screen game in the past few years, which would, of course, be perfectly viable here with a 2nd and what looks to be inches. We look at the position of that down box. The chains look to be in motion. A bit of confusion there on the far sideline. Where the seas are, the box flips over. It's 1st and 10. And the Titans have a chance to put the ball in the end zone here, potentially. We're well and truly in range now.
Yeah, strong tackle from Harry Johnson there. Kind of looked like both players weren't expecting to be hit as they fell to the ground.
Trips to the top side of your screen, and it's Welsh again with a carry. And he manages to escape a tackle for loss and falls forward for an all-important 2 yards. And it's Goss Opong on the tackle.
Yeah,
Welsh out the game now.
The man who got the sack to pin the Titans back earlier on comes up strong in the run game there to force 2nd down. Titans will know for sure here that this drive can and should end with 3 points minimum. So Martin's going to have to look after the football. Bissariu, 2 hands on the ball if he carries it. They need to finish this drive in points.
Trips to the top side of the screen. Martin hands it off to Bissariu, and there's the Red Sea part. And Bissariu is into the end zone. Touchdown, Manchester Titans. What a crucial drive for Titans to break the deadlock here, Sam. And we see number 73 for the Manchester Titans, Mikey Thompson, with his arms aloft in the air.
Really impressive work from the offensive line there. Parted like the Red Sea is what you said, and that is exactly true. We see Bissariu jumping up with his positional coach, John Pangego, there celebrating that touchdown. That'll give them that bit of breathing room, that bit of confidence. Unfortunately for the Caesars, that's going to take them back to the headspace they were in last week. Here we go again.
Snap is high.
Or will they respond?
And Lenkowski delivers. The nods come from the officials. The arms are high. It is 7-0 to the Manchester Titans.
Really nice way to finish off that drive. That is one of the keys to the game for both teams, as we mentioned, that established dominance of the box, of the trenches, the offensive line and defensive line. Manchester do a good job on that drive of controlling the Caesars defensive line. Bissariu goes untouched into the end zone with Sam Pearson in pursuit. And notches 6 on the board for the Titans as we get probably to around the midway point of the second quarter here. Bearing in mind that to start the second half, as I mentioned previously, the Titans will get possession of the football to start the second. So if this is how the game continues on until the second half, Titans will take that 7-0 lead going into the first drive. If they're able to establish a touchdown straight out of the half, that's 14-0 to the Titans before the Caesars get to have a chance to get a score on the board.
Lenkowski comes up to kick now for the kickoff. Noticeably, the Titans are coming out in a slightly different kick formation here. The last time they came out to kick, they had 6 to one side with 4 on the other side, but the Titans now opting for a 5-5, a more traditional split.
Yeah, the special teams playbook for the Titans is quite comprehensive, and they'll have lots of different ways of attacking a return unit. So we'll see what they go for here.
The last kick, obviously, a high kick that fell short, and Lenkowski drills it deep and hits the crossbar. And the Titans sideline goes wild.
I do believe that Lenkowski gets a point for the Titans there for style points, hitting the crossbar. Anyone watching, he doesn't actually gain any points for the Titans, but hitting the crossbar from there is somewhat impressive. There's a reason, I suppose, why he's the Great Britain kicker.
It's massively impressive. Obviously, we're playing on a 45-yard field today, but that kick is a touchback no matter what size, whether you're playing on a 90-yard or a 100-yard field. Massive credit to Lenkowski there. And it brings about a Caesars offensive possession starting from the 25-yard line. Number 2 goes in motion to the wide portion of the field. Snap is called for, handed off to Tuffy Ray, who again advances forward for 6 yards, bring up a 2nd and short for the Caesars. Now, we've seen spotters of brilliance from Tuffy Ray today. We've seen spotters of a strong run game. How important on the 2nd and downs is it to have an open playbook?
Really important. As I said before on their previous drive, this is an opportunity where you can take a shot here, because if you're unsuccessful in gaining that large play, you have 3rd and short, and that's a somewhat manageable conversion to make. So we'll see if they go conservative, try and gain a few more, or they go for a shot.
Snap is called for, and the handoff is made to Tuffy Ray again, who is swarmed upon by Titans, but only after jump cutting back inside, evading his first hit from would-be tackler Calvin Wong. Nice bit of running there from Tuffy Ray, the former Great Britain player.
Just short of the first down there. So this gives the Caesars a really nice opportunity. Essentially, if they hand the ball off and the offensive line can get at least a little bit of push, all Tuffy Ray is going to have to do is fall forwards, and the length of his body is going to get them a first down. We'll see if the Caesars can get the push or the Titans condense that box and close down all lanes.
1 safety deep for the Titans here. We have 6 players down the line of scrimmage. Maduga wanting a piece of the action here. But the handoff comes. The swarm is there. Yigi Erto scoops the football up and is whistled dead before he can advance it any further. than the 15-yard line. Tackle
To,
being made before the ball could be recovered.
much to Erta's dismay. There's nothing more that Erta would have liked there than to take that ball into the end zone. He's a high energy guy, but a great tackle for a loss there by Ola Barju to bring up a fourth down, I believe.
Fourth down.
Yeah,
bit late on the boxes, but Will Morgan trots out. And again, we have Sam Penfold deep to return the kick from the Titans. Snap is clean. Flag flies. Morgan's kick drops in on the 35-yard line and rolls to a stop just beyond the 30. But of course, we have that early flag. And today's Whitecap trots towards the middle of the field, and we will have to have a call for this flag, which is fallen down by the Titans 30.
Yeah, today's Whitecap, Ian Rogers, is going to make the call here. I would anticipate that it's going to be offside on the Titans here, which will give the Caesars potentially a first down. It did look as though they were counting numbers, so they might have called the Titans on having too many players on the pitch. Referee on the side here is counting. I think that's John Roberts.
Whilst we have a quick break in play as we find out what this flag is for, we're going to hear a word from today's sponsors, USN. We've partnered with USN as the official and exclusive supplier of the equipment to the Manchester Titans. USN are the trusted sports nutrition partner for millions of gym goers and fitness enthusiasts across the world. Whatever your goal, whatever your starting points, you can be the greatest version of yourself with USN. And that is, of course, the USN logo you can see across the bottom of the Titans, or top of the Titans jerseys, just above the numbers on the home field sideline here. So thank you for USN for the support for the Titans this year.
Yeah, we've got the Caesars offense. Looks to be coming back out. Yeah, I can see the quarterback number 3, Ben Harrison, Joshua Alawatosin, and Sam Fraser are coming back out. So it looks to me...
We've got a call in here. Producer Kieran has just signalled to me we have too many men on the field from the Titans, but then unsportsmanlike conduct from the Nottingham Caesars. And I believe those penalties will cancel, Sam.
Yeah, that's that same discipline we were talking about earlier. It looks as though the Caesars have got a first down. I anticipate, Stan, that's because the offside penalty occurred during play, and the unsportsmanlike occurred after play. So they'll tack on the first down for the Caesars and then march them back 15 yards for the unsportsmanlike conduct.
With still 10 yards to go, the snap comes. The ball is fired. And it's almost picked. So close. It's linebacker, long-time Titan, Calvin Wong, who narrowly escapes without the football there.
Yeah, very close. Calvin is strong in run support, but really prides himself on good pass support. Just getting that quick pass out to the tight end. The quarterback for the Caesars is going to want to get his arm up and keep it, release the ball high so that ball doesn't float or sail or hit any worms on the ground.
Second and long now for the Caesars. Quarterback looking across the offense. Few dummy counts there, and a handoff to Taffy Ray, who immediately advances sideways and is taken down with a Titan hanging off his back. There was pressure immediately. He cuts outside to try and make something come of the play, as he has been able to do today, but is brought down to a halt.
Safety Jack Mayfield comes down and makes the play there, but initially what causes Taffy Ray to have to bounce to the left-hand side there is Abdul Madugu firing like a rocket right up the middle of the offensive line, essentially untouched, forces Taffy Ray to bounce out where Jack Mayfield and one or two other defenders, I think Theo Benjamin maybe, there to clean up.
So it's third and long again, a familiar sight for these Nottingham Caesars, or familiar sight for both teams today. 2 receivers set to the top of the field now. And it's the handoff again to Taffy Ray. He advances outside and is absolutely drilled to the floor by Abdul Madugu. After what looks to be a 3-yard gain, and it's 4th down for the Caesars. The punt unit trots back on. And again, this is a stagnant Caesars offense now, I think it's fair to say. The absence of Liam McGovern has hit them hard. The Titans have only really had to respect the Caesars run game, and it's yet to yield anything on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Madugu, today's sword bearer, showing why he was chosen as today's sword bearer for the Titans, making multiple plays in the backfield early on.
Clean snap, and the snap is blocked. The kick is blocked. Recovered by the Caesars, but it will not matter. It will be a first down. Titans, Yigi Hurtle with the block, making up for that fumble he was attempting to recover earlier, and instead coming in with a block. Titans football, bang on the 10-yard line. What a shift in momentum. We've seen Morgan flip the field, but the block brings the ball back inside the red zone, and the Titans have the football on the 10-yard line. This has to yield more points for the Titans now here, Sam.
Very, very dangerous possession here. Caesar's defense has done a really good job of keeping this offense out so far. This is such a tough spot to be in, backed up with a fresh, rested offense. See what the Titans call.
Greenhouse in motion. The handoff to Bissariu. He advanced forward. Touchdown, Titans! Hafiz Bissariu. Second of the day. Brushed by the Caesars.
Breaks 2 tackles on his way to the end zone. That Titans offensive line now really getting the control over the Caesars defense. If the Caesars want to clean this up, they're going to have to get a hang on how they can defeat these blocks from the Titans offensive line. See if Titans can tack on the extra point to make it 14-0.
Quarterback Charlie Martin, today's holder. Lankowski, as always, to kick. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Manchester Titans 14, Nottingham Caesars 0.
Nice smooth operation there you'd expect from any Lankowski operated field goal and PAT unit. So, Stan, what are the Caesars offense going to do here to try and get themselves back into this game? Or should I say, what do they need to do?
It seems stagnant. The success they have had so far has through handing the ball off to Wellington, Taffy, Ray so far, but there's been nothing. There's been no other positive production from the offense. We either need to see more misdirection, more ball carries in the run game, or we need to see the advent of a successful passing game here. Because if you're going to play Premiership football with one dimension to your offense, you are not going to be expected to score many points here. And I think that's a fair assessment of what we've seen so far from the Caesars, who now look to return an Alex Lankowski kick.
Yeah, I think one-dimensional is exactly what I was going to say, Stan. It makes things really easy for the Titans' defense.
And it's another touchback for Alex Lankowski. 2 in a row. And we see a bit of handbags at the bottom of our screen there.
Got a flag there. There's an interaction between Ben Harrison
and Titans number 43. Let us get a name for you. That is Adekola Adeshonor. A second flag is floated.
Well, they waved the initial flag, but whatever has gone on there, some kind of communication between potentially Ben Harrison, or is that number 22? It's not number 22. That's
the flag
Andrew
from
Wilkins.
Harrison was waved off. It was Whitecap Ian Rogers who threw the second flag, the first flag being waved off, making it null.
Can't quite make out the number on the back of the shirt of the player who seems to be frustrated walking off the pitch and now kicking bottles on the sideline. But I think that could have been number 23, Elliot Jeffrey.
Yeah, just
could have said something
Given the
referees didn't like.
Given the fact no one is currently receiving a talking to on the near side, closest to us, the Titan sideline, I would lean to believe it was a penalty on the Caesars. But let's wait and see what happens when today's officials break their huddle.
This is that discipline that the Caesars...
Unsportsmanlike conduct. First down, it is a penalty on the Caesars, I believe, Sam. We have no ref mics today. However, the booming tones of Ian Rogers are reaching us all the way up in the box here today.
It is a penalty against the Manchester Titans.
The Titans.
So unsportsmanlike conduct on the Titans there.
Titans marching backwards, and we see some positive yardage for the Nottingham Caesars. They're perhaps being gifted another chance here.
Yeah, best field position of the day or close to for the Caesars. Not long before the second half, the first half comes to a close, Caesars are going to want to establish something here, get themselves some positive plays to feel good going into the second half, maybe even get on the board.
Caesars with a split back. Ben Harrison now moving into the slot on the near side of your screen. Taffy Ray with the carry for no gain, I believe. That is none other than GB defensive lineman Cade Makin on the tackle.
Yeah.
Just nowhere to go for Wellington Taffy Ray there. And as we discussed earlier, we're going to need to see some variation here from the Caesars.
Yeah, this is not too dissimilar to what we saw in the first game. I understand the Caesars are in a bit of a tricky spot here, losing their starting quarterback, Liam McGovern. But, I'd be inclined to scheme a few more touches to Ben Harrison, Joshua Olorotosin, Sam Fraser out wide, try and stretch this Titans defense, because at the minute, Titans box is controlling the line of scrimmage.
And the snap is fumbled. QB recovers it. It's taken down by 57. The ball was loose, but I believe it was whistled dead. Number 57. That is Don Espina on the initial hit. So a bubbled snap. And Espina now celebrates towards his sideline. And we have a Caesar down on the field.
Yeah, can't quite. That might be number 61 for the Caesars, who we
Caesar's
don't
medic
have a
rushed on.
roster number for. But he is getting up under his own power and walking off with who I think is the Caesars physiotherapist. So the Caesars offense stays out here. Third and a mile, Stan. There are no plays that you put in here. So this is let's survive this play. If we can gain a few more yards to give our punt team a little bit of help in pinning the Titans offense deep, that's going to be the call here.
I think you might be right, especially given the fact the Titans offense will get the ball after the half. You've got to be thinking about winding down the clock here. Now, if you're head coach George Foster, are timeouts on the table here if we see a run play like we have done on many a play here so far?
Yeah. We've got Willie T and Chris Baby in the backfield.
Snap comes. The pass goes out and it's battered down by Espina. 2 plays on the trot. He waves off the pass. And that is 4th and long.
That's that
Morgan trots back out.
design swing pass again to the running back there. That one looked like it had a little bit more room. You'll see that defensive back James William was backing off due to just the sheer yardage required for the Caesars to get a first down. So he would have had the opportunity to come down, but, having Taffarey in the open field against the defender is a risky position to be in. So nice play from Espina there.
Caesars set up to punt the ball away. Morgan takes a low snap but recovers it fine. It's an end-over-end punt that lands about the 35 and rolls forward. And that ends up being a punt down on the 14-yard line. So an end-over-end, a spinning punt, rolling forward for an extra 15, 20 yards for the Caesars to set up Titans around the 15-yard line.
Good punt there from Will Morgan. We have Titans starting in field position here, pretty close to their own end zone. Titans will stay aggressive here. It is just that kind of philosophy, that kind of mentality at Manchester. They will be conscious of using some time. They won't want to give the Caesars an opportunity to earn good field position if the Titans are unsuccessful offensively here.
Little rotation for your receiver here. We see Greenhouse swapped out the game for GB receiver / tight end. Alex Baldry to the top of your screen there. The handoff is faked and the ball comes in cleanly to Brad Temple. He takes it for a solid 4-yard gain on first down. So our first little look at Alex Baldry here today.
Yeah, Baldry is a big receiver, certainly, speaking about his blocking prowess, very, very impressive blocker. Fantastic out there for the screen game. So getting the ball out to Connor Greenhalgh, to Brad Temple on quick passes out there with Baldry is no surprise to me.
Spread for the Titans. A flag is flown. The play is blown dead. Let's wait to see what the call is. False start for the offense. That's going to move them back and cost the Titans here.
2nd and long for the Titans in not so ideal field position. So on 2nd and 10, Titans typically could look to run something like a screen pass to one of the wide receivers out wide, perhaps a draw or counterplay to Bisiriu.
Caesars DB Sidolf. Martin drops back. Martin fires, and he hits number 11, Connor Greenhouse, on the out to bring about a 3rd and short.
Really nice throw and catch there from Martin. Drop back, read the defensive back, saw that the cornerback who was covering Baldry out wide dropped deep, which opened up that outside for Greenhalgh. He hit him on what would be called a flood concept.
And it's a check with knee play. The receivers look to the sidelines, receive the knee play from Challens and Owen Smith. Signals received. The Titans reset.
I think you'd look for a screen here.
And the handoff is faked, and Martin's pass is about a metre in front of the nearest receiver, Brad Temple, and that brings out a 4th and short. Now, given the fact you've been running the ball so well on short yardage situations, a questionable call perhaps from the Titans offense.
Interesting call. I anticipate that it was an RPO, so a run pass option, which gives Charlie Martin the option based on numbers, based on matchups that he likes to either hand the ball off to Bisiriu or to pass it. I agree with you though, Stan. I think that in terms of churning some clock and in terms of gaining that yardage, I think Bisiriu gives you the best shot there.
Lenkowski's boot is high, spinning a spiral kick, if you will, end over end, as it rolls across past Ben Harrison and into the end zone. That will be a touchback. A field flipping punt, but a little bit too much mustard on it to be downed anywhere closer to the goal line.
Yeah, Lenkowski showing off his power there in his leg. And just while we've got this opportunity, we'll tell you about one of our sponsors today. So we've teamed up with Beer Keller, the ultimate immersive sports bar. Whether celebrating a Titans win or just kicking back with friends, Beer Keller brings the energy with authentic German beer, hearty food, and unforgettable nights. So raise your stein, sing your heart out, and be part of something legendary only at Beer Keller.
3 down linemen for the Titans with Espina in 2-point stance. Coming off the edge. A late substitution or late receiver joining the offense for the Caesars as they're back in their split back formation. The handoff comes to number 2, Sam Fraser, and it's a big hit from Don Espina. I feel like I've been saying his name a lot today as he has a fantastic half of football under his belt.
Nice hit from Espina there. Sam Fraser gaining 3 yards on the play. Just before the end of the second half, you'd be assuming the 2-minute warning is on its way. The Caesars might want to just burn clock here, get themselves into the half without any other mishaps, any other scores for the Titans, and regroup.
I think you've got to understand at this point in the half, when you're this far back, it's unexpected to score. So I think chewing clock when the Titans are going to get the ball after half may just be the best course of action. It seems that they are on the same wavelength as us, running the football again with Taffy Ray for a short gain. Brings about 3rd and medium. Still a chance of converting, but the clock keeps running.
Yeah, you have to assume that the Caesars felt coming into this game that they're going to have to get their run game going due to the lack of Liam McGovern's availability. That might be the 2-minute warning right there.
Yeah, 2-minute warning.
Caesars coming into this game probably knew that they were going to have to establish the run game, win via the run game, and hopefully supplement in some short and basic passes for this quarterback. Not seen that so far, unfortunately, for the Caesars.
5 set to rush for Titans, and they do indeed bring 5. A lot of pressure in the face of the quarterback. Oh, and it's bobbled by Ben Harrison. His first look at a reception today. And it's bobbled, and the ball lays now on the floor before being returned to the official. And that brings out a 4th and medium. How frustrating for Ben Harrison is that? Not a lot of action for him today. A GB receiver
Very, very frustrating for Harrison there. That's a real opportunity to put your team in a position to make something happen before the half and flip that momentum going into the half, which, momentum is not measurable, but you can feel it. It's palpable. Unfortunately, we're going to get a punt here, though.
Morgan's kick is high. It's spinning backwards. Bit of backspin on that. And it indeed drops backwards. The Caesars are keen to down it. And it is number 22, Andrew Wilkins, who stops the ball from rolling any further. So a short kick there from Morgan to bring out the Titans offense with just under 2 minutes left on the clock on the 36-yard line. Bit of urgency now for the Titans, I imagine.
Absolutely. They will want to start lining up nails to bang into the Caesars coffin. Challenge will stay aggressive here with 2 minutes. He'll know how many timeouts he has. The players will be well versed in how to handle these situations. Charlie Martin will know he has to make completions and good decisions and operate the clock.
Four-man rush from the Caesars. Pulls it deep. Oh, and it bangs off the chest plate of Manny Eze. Wide open, untouched. But it is a small lapse in concentration, which costs Eze what would have been a guaranteed 6 points in that situation.
Yeah, Eze, Harrison, couple of concentration issues here from the receivers. Secure that catch, concentrate on the football. Don't worry about the hit. That's a touchdown wiped off the board for the Titans. Really nice pass and throw from Charlie Martin over the top of the safety. Eze will be kicking himself about that.
That was a Caesars defense dropping back 7 in coverage there. They send a bit more pressure this time with the number 7 coming off the edge. Martin hauls it deep again, and it's over the top of Sam Penfold.
Yeah.
That's 2 costly plays perhaps for the Titans. 2 score opportunities, but we do see a flag down.
Penfold has stopped running there on the seam or the post route up the middle of the field. If he continues up into the middle of the field, he might have a chance to get that football, but just a missed connection there. And again, we could have been looking at another touchdown for the Titans, but not this time. It looks like holding.
That's more than a hold. That's 15 yards. They're being marched backwards. That's got to be on. Nope, the Titans are huddling further back from the football. It was just a 10-yard penalty, which, could have been, in fact, a hold. Holding on number 73 there. That is Mike Thompson. Titans back in the spread on a 2nd and long. Josh Welch accompanying Martin in the backfield.
Titans are going to try and get a shot play here.
Oh, Martin hit on his release, and it's over the top of Eze there. Martin hit on his release, but he jumps back up just fine.
I would anticipate that on this 3rd and a mile here, Challenge is going to want to churn some clock, not give them the opportunity to get back into this game just before the half. I would expect to see a run, or if not a run, then a designed short pass to get the ball in the hands of a receiver quickly so that the clock ticks and that the Caesars are in a position where if they want to have an offensive opportunity, they're going to have to take timeouts.
Trips to the wide portion at the top of your screen. Welsh in the backfield. Martin takes a snap. Welsh swings. A lot of protection. Martin's got all the room in the world to play with. Oh, and it's a great pass break up there. Number 30 in on the play. It's Gabe Wiseman, Martin's teammate from the UClan Rams, in on the breakup.
Yeah, really nice play there from Gabe Wiseman. Martin senses the pressure, steps up into the pocket, which is a really nice job as a young quarterback to understand that the outside of the pocket is not where I'm going to go. I'm going to go straight up the middle where it's all unfolded. I can get a clear view. He has thrown back across his body, which we wouldn't really advise when you're kind of trying to teach a quarterback the rights and wrongs of how to play. There's an opportunity there for the receiver, but Gabe Wiseman, the GB defensive back, and UClan defender on the play.
Oh, it's a high snap. Lenkowski's backpedaling, and he kicks it away. It's blocked by the Caesars, recovered by the Caesars, and that is going to bring about a Caesars offensive possession from the 17-yard line. So what could have been a chance for Lenkowski to flip the field, flip position, pin the Caesars back, has resulted in the Caesars red zone possession, the first of the day.
Nightmare scenario there for Manchester. They've managed to survive. They're going to pin the ball. They're going to pin the ball deep for the Caesars, and the Caesars are going to run out of time before they have an opportunity to do anything. However, immediately now the Caesars are in a threatening position. They are in a position to score, and as a bare minimum, they will conserve one timeout so that they can kick a field goal and get 3 points on the board.
In this sort of range, you'd be expecting to see the score here, surely.
Yeah, Will Morgan has the leg for this.
Twin to the top of your screen there. Taffy Ray in the backfield swings out, another design swing, received successfully for a short gain. He runs out of bounds, which is crucial at this point in the half, because that, of course, means the clock stops, giving the Caesars a little bit more time, giving Grant Lawless a little bit more time to dial up that play call.
Yeah, it's nice play design there. And that's that design swing that we've seen so many times. Quarterback recognizes that the defender's off. Little dink over the top. Taffy Ray manages to gain some yards, put them in a bit of better field position, and head out of bounds to stop the clock, most importantly. Trips
to the top of your screen. You've got Ben Harrison back in the slot again. Perhaps an attempt to bring him into wide out to make him a bit further into the range of our new quarterback today. It's handed off to Taffy Ray. He's dropped back in the backfield. And it's number 75, Theo Benjamin, with the tackle for a loss to bring out a 3rd and long. So we've gone from a successful Caesars defensive play, and we've gone backwards yet again. Stalling out in the red zone. Let's hope, from a Caesars perspective, that they can bring something here to keep them in range and give Morgan a chance at nailing on the first Caesars points of the day.
Yeah, Caesars haven't had a lot of success running the ball lately. They did early on. So, again, I'm coming back to that man, Ben Harrison here, or even Joshua Oliver-Tosin. I'm taking a shot to one of these really talented, rangy receivers in the red zone against short defenders.
Titans safeties are down. The ball comes out. A flag flies. Let's see what the call is here, Sam. If this is on the season, it knocks them out of field goal range, not to speculate too much. But that would be absolutely gutting for them. False start is the call from Ian Rodgers. The penalty is declined, and the Titans will opt to bring about 4th down.
With 14-0 in the game here, Stan, understanding that the half is about to end, do you go for the field goal here and make it 14-3 game going into the second half, or are you being aggressive and trying to keep your offense out?
It's tricky to say. I mean, usually in this sort of situation, when you're 14 down and you've got a shot in the red zone, I would say take the 3.
Yeah. My opinion, you don't go broke taking a profit.
No.
3 points is 3 points at the end of the day. And if the Caesars can get on the board, they kick another field goal in the second half, all of a sudden they are in a much better situation to equalize or take the lead. Looks like they're going to stay aggressive here and keep the offensive unit out, which I'm surprised about because the offense hasn't seen a great deal of success so far, and they have to get 11 yards, which I think would be their largest gain of the day so far.
I believe you're right there, Sam. Harrison, the second receiver in from the sideline, on the top of your screen. The flag, another flag flies. A ball for Harrison is brought down by Harrison. There's no whistle. Should be called as a touchdown. I'm unsure. The play seemed to freeze. The Titans seem to lose focus. A second flag is down towards the middle of the field, between the two hashes, around the 5-yard line. We've got 2 flags flown. I'm assuming a false start from the Caesars offense.
I think there was an early whistle to indicate the play.
Unless I can hear the whistle. I'm unsure because the Titans all seem to freeze and Ben Harrison seemed to waltz into the end zone for want of a...
It was a fantastic catch.
It was a fantastic grab under pressure.
2 defenders. I err on the side of caution saying that he mossed him, but I'd love to see it back.
Caesars quarterback on the sideline now.
Legal
talking
formation
to
is what referee Ian Rodgers has just called. So the touchdown is not going to stand.
That's twice the Caesars have been called for that now.
They're going to go back 5 yards, and they're going to get another 4th down opportunity, but this time it's going to be 16 yards to go until the 1st down.
There'll be no loss of down here. The penalty occurred before the play started as a formation-based penalty, and it's a big 4th down. Titans PA announced today, riling the crowd up, support their side, and prevent the first Caesars points of the game coming on the board if they have things their way. Titans look to be expecting the pass here. Caesars out in a 2-by-2 spread here, so 2 receivers to the top, 2 receivers to the bottom. Just not quite as wide as we've seen today from the Manchester Titans.
Tough to know what to call here. You think they try that little rail, that little swing route to the running back again, but again, Ben Harris and Joshua Olatosin are the 2 names that I keep coming back to.
Snap comes. Ball is hauled deep in the oh, it's picked off! It is! Titans number 7, James Williams, advancing the ball to the 20, past the 20 to the 25, 30 before he's brought down by an offensive lineman, number 61 for the Nottingham Caesars.
Yeah, we got a flag on the play, which I think, Stan, could have been another illegal formation from the Caesars offense. So if that is the case, the Titans will decline that penalty.
And
they'll
it looks
take the
to be
interception.
the case. Titans receivers are jogging back on, and the whole Titans offense, in fact, jogging back onto the field for what must be the last possession of the half now.
Yeah, we're just seeing fundamental errors from the Nottingham Caesars, which are...
That's half-time.
We've got the half there. So fundamental errors that we're seeing from the Nottingham Caesars there that are, knocking them out of field goal range, taking them out of the red zone. And it's been a recurring theme of the game. And if we go back to last week and the conversation that I had with Grant Lawless, he did mention that they just wanted to execute their assignments and they wanted to be conscious of penalties. They felt like they left yards out there and they hurt themselves. And so far, we're seeing a lot of the same from this Nottingham Caesars offense. The defense for the Caesars is probably, holding up their end of the bargain. The Manchester Titans offense hasn't particularly got consistent success offensively. And so we're looking at the Caesars offense is going to have to come alive if they're going to stand any chance of getting on the board in this game. How do you think that the Titans will be feeling about that half, Stan?
I think it's a bittersweet one because in terms of moments they've created for themselves, there hasn't been an awful lot. The possessions they've been handed have been in favourable positions. Both the scoring drive, they've taken control of the football in Caesars territory already. So obviously they'll be happy to put a point into the board. But in terms of being able to move the ball from midfield and backed up, they've not seen as much success. The Titans' defense, I think, you've shut out your opposition. You cannot hope for a better start to the game, but you can't help but feel a lot has been gifted to the Manchester Titans here by this Nottingham Caesars team all around.
Yeah. So in my conversation with head coach George Foster, he did acknowledge that in the previous game they left a lot of yards on the field, and I imagine that him and offensive coordinator Alex Challenge will be feeling somewhat similar here. They know that they have dangerous players that they can get the ball to. It's going to be a case of how do we get the ball in the hands of Connor Greenhalgh, Brad Temple, Sam Penfold. Obviously, we've seen Bissariu have success running the ball with that first touchdown and consistently picking up chunk yardage here and there. But the Titans are going to want to get on the board a little bit more. They're going to want to make sure that they close out this game in the third quarter.
What I would love to see from this Titans passing attack in the second half of the game is to maybe exploit some of the more underneath options. We've seen the Caesars DBs sitting off, almost asking them to beat us underneath, and we're yet to see that from the Titans. We've seen them win in the box with a few successful carries from Bissariu. But if the DBs could be sitting off that far, it opens up a Titans passing attack underneath. So I'm wondering if that will be the conversation between Challenge and Martin in the second half of football.
Indeed, yeah. This Caesars offense currently quite one-dimensional, other than the designed swing passes out. We saw the touchdown pass brought off the board to Ben Harrison, but the Caesars are going to have to find a way to stress the Titans' defense out more, because this running game up the middle is not creating the yardage and the results that the Caesars are going to want or need to win this game.
Just a little update for you from around the grounds now. So, East Kilbride Pirates today are taking on the Coventry Phoenix. East Kilbride are up to 28 points, and the Coventry Phoenix trail 20 with 20 points at an 8-point margin between the two sides. Now, obviously, Coventry Phoenix sitting on top of the table with the tiebreaker difference between the Manchester Titans. A crucial result for this Premiership table, Sam.
That would have a huge impact on how the table looks. If the East Kilbride Pirates were able to come away with a win there, that would drop the Phoenix down. If the Titans were able to secure a win, it would drop the Phoenix down to 3rd place. So the Titans, probably unaware, it's not really the Titans' style to kind of be checking on results around the league. They just kind of focus on their own job, as I'm sure the Nottingham Caesars will be as well. But that result would be huge there if the Titans can come away with a win here too.
Absolutely. All will remain to be seen in the second half of today's fixture between the Manchester Titans and the Nottingham Caesars. We will join you after the break now.
Yeah, and just as we leave, I will tell you about one of our sponsors, Creating Food Meteorites Limited. The Titans would like to give thanks to our sponsor, Creating Food Meteorites, a consultant to the food and drinks industry, stimulating innovative ideas, nurturing talent, and building innovation ecosystems. So thank you for your support, Creating Food Meteorites Limited. As we sign off here, I will join you in the second half with Stan Wilson. And as we begin the second half, we will have a bit of an announcement to make. So join us as we start the second half in just a few moments, and we will give you a bit of news.
Very warm welcome back to Belle Vue Speedway here as the Nottingham Caesars about to kick off for the second half. But before we get into the action, a quick word from one of our sponsors, our new sponsors, Supreme Financial Solutions Limited. We've partnered with Supreme Financial Solutions this year. Supreme offers advice on a range of products and services that can support you to reach your personal financial goals. And the ball is received by number 10 on the Titans, Sam Penfold, past the 20, past the 30, past the 40, into the opposition's half, and he is dropped out of bounds. He steps out of bounds at just around the 20-yard line there. A massive, massive start to the half for the Manchester Titans special teams unit to set the offense up in scoring position straight away.
That is textbook Sam Penfold. Didn't intend on fielding the kick. It hasn't bounced the way that he's thought. It's bounced right up in front of him again, similar to what happened against East Kilbride when he had his other big return. And he's fielded the ball, managed to get around the edge, beating Ben Harrison of all people, and has come down the sideline. And in true textbook Sam Penfold fashion, hasn't managed to score a return touchdown.
Here we go. Titans in a two-back set now. Nathan Jukes joins Hafiz Bissariu in the backfield now. In the first of a pro set day, Bissariu with the carry. Jukes out in front, throws down a lovely block, and the Titans clear a little pathway through. Alex Baldry getting in on the action there for a 6 to 7 yard carry to open up the half.
Yeah, not the position that the Caesars defense would have wanted to find themselves in straight away in the second half, defending their own end zone, and then having the likes of Alex Baldry out wide, Nathan Jukes leading the way for Hafiz Bissariu, alongside that enormous Titans offensive line.
Jukes stays in the game now on 2nd and short. Let's see what the Titans deliver here. Jukes out in front again. Bissariu with the totes, who drags a Caesar with him, but only as far as the line of scrimmage. And we'll go back to Supreme Financial Solutions here. So again, like I mentioned earlier, we partner with Supreme Financial Solutions this year to offer personal finance solutions and help reaching your goals. Whether you're looking for your first home or peace of mind to ensure you have the protection cover you need, Supreme can help. They will work with you to find the best financial solutions suited to your needs and put you in control of your best financial plans. Jukes stays in the game. Welsh now joins him in the backfield as Titans continue in this two-back pro-style split back look. Two receivers now to the top of your screen. Martin takes the snap. Dummy handoff to Jukes, and he's slung down by his jersey, by the Caesars defensive lineman, number 92.
That is Bobby Okafor.
Bobby Okafor.
That's the man who got the sack in the first half. He also, on the previous play, swallowed up the run by Bissariu, and now brings down Martin for a sack on what was clearly a miscommunication between Martin and the running back. Lines up for a field goal here. We've got Martin back to hold and Lenkowski to kick. This is well within his range on the right hash.
First field goal of the day. Snap is good. The kick is up. And the kick is good. Lenkowski demonstrating why he is GB's go-to guy.
So while we've got a little moment here, Stan, I suppose I'll stop teasing our announcement and let the people know. So for those of you who followed British American football or even Titans American football for a while, you'll know a few familiar names, and one of those is going to be returning to the Titans this year. Joshua Mills, who played quarterback for the Titans last year alongside myself and Charlie Martin, was fortunate enough to receive a GFL 1 offer from the Paderborn Dolphins, and he went out to play for the Dolphins this year. He's been with them for the last few months and played a few games against the likes of Potsdam Royals and the Dresden Monarchs. And Josh, last week, got in contact with the team. He's headed home, and he isn't quite in the country yet, but in the next couple of weeks, he'll be in the country. He has submitted and completed his international transfer. So Josh Mills is going to be returning to the team. Not only that, Stan, I believe there's somebody else who's returning to the team or joining the team as well. Who might that be?
Joining the team is yet another quarterback. So all of a sudden, we've gone from 1 to 3 quarterbacks for the Manchester Titans. It is Nottingham Greens and Team GB's Spencer Burkhill. So a Nottingham player, but not choosing to stay in Nottingham to play for the adult team. Hang on a second.
Recover the ball here. Joshua Oluwatosin was dancing around and was not diving on what is a live football on a kickoff. We'll have to see who the referees. It looks as though
the ball's recovered.
Yes,
the ball is recovered.
Number 32, that is Charlie Craven, has recovered the football. Titans immediately in enormous, or should I say, in fantastic field position.
That's a guaranteed 3 points again for the Titans. Now, to come away from 2 red zone possessions with 6 points would be underwhelming, to say the least, for the Titans. But let's see what they come out with here. Nathan Dukes again in the backfield. We see more of this pro-style look in the second half for the Titans. A check with me play, a new play call in from the sideline from Challenge. And the offense reset. Formation remains the same. New players in. Hand off to Dukes. Dukes up the middle. He bulldozes forwards into a tackler, but unable to get any further as 3 Caesars hang off him and successfully bring him down to bring about 2nd and long here.
Yeah, Titans clearly trying to establish a strong run game here with 2 running backs in the backfield. That pro formation you keep talking about, Stan. They can pass out of this formation, but Titans are trying to create a numbers advantage in the box.
Hand off to Bisiriu, who we've seen a lot of success in the first half, but again, he's swallowed up by the Nottingham Caesars. Notice to the short side, to the side of the field closest to the viewers there, we have a 2-over-2 situation with the receivers. No safety help over the top there. So Caesars taking a bit of a gamble to stop the run, but the gamble pays off. And the Caesars bring about a 3rd and long situation in the red zone. Potential risk of settling for a field goal here again.
Yeah, Caesars number 22, Andrew Wilkins, swallowing up the run there. Really hard to break a tackle from Andrew Wilkins. We do have 2-on-2 at the bottom of the screen here. I wonder, to the field side, with all that width, whether Challenge would call a play here. He's gone for a screen to the running back.
Welsh receives the ball. He leans forward, falls forward, but he's only able to return to the line of scrimmage there. We had Penfold open in the end zone. Sorry, not in the end zone. Open in 5 yards short of the end zone there, but the check down is taken. And it's 4th down. Titans opt to kick. 6 points. Well, potential 6 points from 2 red zone possessions here. Let's see what Lenkowski can make of this attempt.
Yeah, Challenge, the offensive coordinator for the Titans, will be disappointed there. So will Charlie Martin. But, as we said before the half, you don't go broke taking a profit. And that kick is missed. So the Titans end up in great field possession, but the Titans cannot convert. Caesars hold, keep the game a 17-0 scoreline, which is a 3-score game. And just going back to what we were saying before, so Spencer Burkhill, quarterback for Nottingham Green, has featured for Nottingham Gold University team as well. Part of the GB Lions adult team, will be joining Josh Mills, who, again, recently has been playing for the GFL 1 Paderborn Dolphins, but prior to that spent the year with the Manchester Titans and is also a GB Lions adult quarterback. I suppose after this play, Stan, I'm interested to get your take on how this is going to impact the Manchester Titans offense and how it's likely to be handled by offensive coordinator Alex Challens.
Absolutely, and we'll discuss that in a moment's time. Ben Harrison waving his arms in frustration until number 17 joins Caesars on the field of play there. Ball is shot in. Don Espina is there yet again with Jack Mayfield to break up the pass. And a flag flies. Before we get to see the result of this play, Spencer Burkill joining this is now 3-person Titans quarterback room. It opens up a bit of competition, like you said. Josh Mills, obviously, he's played in this offense before. He started in this offense before as well, I believe. And given his pedigree as a GB quarterback, his experience in Europe, does that make him the favourite to take over the quarterback role from the young Martin going forwards?
On paper, you would certainly think that Mills puts himself in a position to take that starting spot off Charlie Martin, but George Foster, head coach, and Alex Challens, offense coordinator, could put their faith in Charlie Martin and say that they're going to basically ride with him until the end of the season, as long as Martin continues to perform. Now, this offensive performance today from Charlie Martin, we've not seen fireworks, really. We haven't seen a great deal of completions.
2 more flags fly after the Caesars were marched backwards after the result of the following play. And we see Yiggy marching towards the Titans sideline in celebration, it seems. I wonder if he was able to draw some sort of flag.
So it looked to me like the initial penalty was in a skirmish between James Simpson and some of the Manchester Titans defenders. And we just saw James Simpson, number 74, walking off to the sideline with his helmet off as well. So depending on what's happened here, it could be simply an unsportsmanlike conduct, a personal foul penalty. You could see something as extreme as James Simpson being ejected from the game if he has said or been inappropriate towards the officials.
That is on number 74.
That is his second of the game, I believe, and he is now ejected from the game, which, for those who don't know, means that James Simpson will be subject to a league-mandated fine, and he'll also miss the upcoming fixture, the next fixture for the Nottingham Caesars. So not only a costly penalty for the Caesars trying to get back in the game right here, they're going to lose their lineman for the rest of the game. They're also going to lose one of their starting linemen for the next game. So those disciplinary issues creeping in for the Caesars now. In my conversation with offensive coordinator Grant Lawless, he was talking to me about how, you know, the Titans' juice, something that they use to kind of combat other teams, is unlikely to be that effective against the Caesars. However, if you go off this game and the last game, the penalty yardage alone, I'm not sure that that's reality.
You just cannot let yourself get riled up by this Titans team. We've seen them do it to teams in the past. This juice, this relentless energy, and it seems to have created another victim in the Nottingham Caesars who've been marched back yet again, and that is first at a country mile now.
Anyone who is watching the live stream and happens to know the name of the quarterback playing for Nottingham today, I'd love it if you could comment or get in touch and let us know who that player is.
The pass is up and it's complete. Pass to number 2, Sam Fraser, who's brought down at the 30. And I believe, against all odds, that's a first down for the Nottingham Caesars.
That is more like it. Looked like either a post route going upfield, cutting 45 degrees into the middle of the field, or possibly a dig route, sort of like a box shape. And the quarterback completes that pass to Sam Fraser. Sam Fraser, typically a running back or even a defensive back for GB in a previous iteration, and completes that pass there. This is the life we've needed to see from the Nottingham offense. I hope this gives their quarterback some comfort and some faith that he can deliver the pass if and when he needs to. Let's see if they continue to ride that.
Comfort was the word I was going to use there. He looks a lot more comfortable in the way he threw the ball there. It was less bobble. It's much more direct. Let's hope we can see some more of it. Taffy Ray with the carry, bends it outside again, is brought down. Now that is a scene we've seen all day. The rushing lane closed. Taffy Ray bends it to the sideline. And who is there? It's Madugu, today's sword bearer for the Manchester Titans, to bring him down and bring about the third and short.
Madugu might be the best player on this Titans defense. And I say that I do not say that lightly. You know, you have capped GB players on this team. Cade Makin, you know, Charlie Dixon is a force in the middle. Madugu has been electric for the Titans all year. Let's see if he can come up big on third down for them.
Looks to be a five-man pressure coming for the Titans here. Trips bunch to the bottom of the screen here on the short side. Oh, Madugu shows rush, and he comes indeed. It's six-man pressure from the Titans. The ball comes in to Sam Fraser. It's knocked free, and a flag is thrown.
All the way from the back judge, Rich McEwen there.
One hell of an arm there.
Must have spotted something in amongst that scrum of players. See what the call is here. Just while we're waiting for this call, Stan, and hopefully finishing off our conversation around those two incoming quarterbacks, they have a choice, really. They can kind of say that they're going to ride and die with Charlie Martin, or they can open up the competition. You know, Charlie has shown flashes of that brilliance. You know, take the Newcastle emphatic win. Some of the plays against the East Kilbride Pirates. Martin has clearly shown he's got the arm, he's got the brain. You know, it's just a case of, are the Titans investing in Charlie Martin this year? Or are they saying, you know, Josh Martin or Spencer Burkhill, who are also, you know, they're not old players. These guys are all under the age of, you know, 28. I think Josh Mills is around 24, 25 years old. Spencer Burkhill also at university, like Charlie Martin. So young players, but the experience would side with Josh. However, Charlie's been handed the keys to this all year. It's going to be a really interesting dynamic to see whether they ride with him or whether they give Josh and Spencer the opportunity to win that job.
Caesars back on the move. A penalty pushed them forwards. Trips to the top side of your screen. And quarterback drops back. Launches out wide on a wheel. And it's almost picked off. That looks to me like Josh Balela. It's battered down. He'll be kicking himself that he didn't pick that ball off.
Looks a lot. The 8 and the 0 look very similar. That is actually.
Well, it is Josh Balela.
Rome Darko.
0.
0 is the corner on the far side. Rome Darko in the middle of the pitch.
Oh, it was
now.
Rome Darko.
Rome Darko, formerly of the Canadian Junior League, played his youth football at the Tamworth Phoenix. And Rome Darko almost coming up with the interception there. Wayward pass out to Ben Harrison. Got second and long.
Two-back set, pro style now for the Caesars. Four-man rush for the Titans. The pass comes, and it's battered down again by Espiner.
Great play. Espiner has been all over the pitch today. I'm happy to say that, you know, Madugu might be the best player on this defense, but in terms of the game today, we have seen Espiner make tackles for a loss in the backfield, getting pressure on the quarterback. He's knocked down 2 passes in coverage.
At least.
This is a defensive lineman who's dropping into coverage from time to time and knocking down passes in coverage. Really, really impressive from Espina today.
Titans line up. Looking send for. Madugu comes down. We've got 2 receivers to the bottom of the screen here for the Nottingham Caesars. The swing comes from Taffy Ray. The pass comes in to number 8 here, and it's a fantastic tackle from Jack Mayfield. As that is number 88. Dean Gabriel Ojo with the reception today.
Yeah, big man with the football there. Really good, strong hands to hold on to that football. When he actually caught the ball is directly in front of him with his arms extended. As I think Jack Mayfield's trying to wrap up, I was surprised he held on to that football, but really strong hands there. As the Caesars are going to look to pin the Titans deep in their own territory. We'll see if Sam Penfold can give the Titans a bit more wiggle room on a return.
The punt comes away. It's high and angled towards the Caesars sideline. Bounces out at the 25. Now, normal circumstances, a solid punt, but on a shortened field, that's only a net gain of, from my perspective, 30 yards. Not Morgan's finest punt today, but it's still back in the Titans' half as Martin, Bissariu, and Josh Welsh trot back out. So before, when we've seen this two-back set from the Titans, it's been Dukes serving as the secondary back, the full-back, if you will, in the situation. Could we see a different look here from the Titans?
Looks like that pro set we've seen lately. I think we had a conversation pre-game, Stan, and we were under the impression that the Titans were looking to maybe work on their pro set a little bit more, strengthen their run game. So we'll see what they call.
Temple in motion. Orbit motion around the quarterback. Martin bobbles the snap. It comes low. Welsh scoops it up. And the pile is still moving. A 4-yard gain from a bobbled snap.
Very, very impressive there from Josh Welsh. Martin, the snap was ever so slightly low. He needs to let Scott Tomlinson, centre, know that. And but ultimately, I think that Martin could have done a better job of handling that football. Very quick reactions from Josh Welsh to pick that up. And fantastic push from the offensive line to gain those additional yards.
To the big men in the trenches there. Again, pro sets for the Titans. Hand off to Bissariu. It's slightly bobbled. Bissariu ends up doing a 360 spin upon receiving the handoff before he's brought down by a pair of Caesars.
Caesars' defensive line completely collapse the Titans' offensive line there. Nowhere to go. It was almost a read option play. Martin, even if he kept it, would have been completely swallowed up too. So 3rd and medium here. Let's see what is called.
Quick update for you here. The Coventry Phoenix have tied the game, and it's a 28-all finish between the Coventry Phoenix and the East Kilbride Pirates.
So with a win here, Stan, I believe that would put Manchester as number 1 in the Northern Premiership.
Welsh carries ball. A lovely block from Bissariu. Before Welsh is brought down, a yard shy of the first down, bringing up 4th and short. Nathan Dukes trots onto the field. The offense stays out there.
Great tackle.
Manchester pointing for the first down. Not sure whether their decision will change. And the chains, bit of confusion here.
And the referee has signalled for the chains to move to first down.
First down, maybe a generous spot in the football there.
Titans first down. Good tackle by Henry Scanlon there. Not quite enough to stop them from getting a first down. This pro set causing problems for the Caesars defense. Must be a timeout. Could be an official's timeout here while they get the chains sorted. And we're back in play.
Quick word again today from the Pitman Flannel Company, who are here today at Belle Vue Speedway, sponsoring our stream today. So massive thank you to them again. The Pitman Flannel Company, where timeless style meets rugged comfort, as the handoff comes to Hafiz Bissariu as he charges down the middle of the field. That north-south running style that we've come to expect from him. And that's first down Manchester.
You know what's standing out to me here, Stan, is the offensive line are not just...
stays down.
The offensive line for the Titans are not just dealing with the defensive front, perhaps not consistently. You know, just a few plays ago, the defensive line completely swallowed up the Titans' backfield. But on that play, Titans' offensive line getting to the D-line, but also getting to the second level. Now, second level meaning, you know, you have the initial players lined up, crouched in a three-point stance with their hand on the floor. They're the defensive linemen of the Nottingham Caesars. But just behind them, the linebackers, who are perhaps 5 yards back. That would be called the second level. And the Titans' offensive line are doing a good job of getting to those second-level players, getting hands on them and creating space and opportunities for Bissariu in this Titans running game. See how the Titans do here without Bissariu, because they've been leaning heavily on him for their run game. Titans haven't had a great deal of passing success here today. The Caesars have done a good job of shutting that down. So let's see how the Titans do without Bissariu and who they go to. Got to imagine that Josh Welsh is going to get a good few carries here. See Nathan Dukes, number 12, come into the backfield with the black undershirt. He's likely going to pave the way as a lead blocker for Josh Welsh. But I would like to see the ball in the hands of Brad Thompson and Manny Eze and get this pass game going a bit for Manchester as well.
Back in the pro style again and fake the handoff. The ball is out to Temple, who spins off a tackle, falling forwards for 3 yards, bringing himself just short of first down chains. Of course, when Bissariu walked off the field there, it was by Titans medic Mary Priestner and her team, consisting of Ethan, Sam, Emily and Glenn. So massive thank you to them all. I know Priestner has gained herself a name in the Lancashire American football world as the go-to medic, having served for the then Wolverines, UClan Rams, Salford Storm, and now the Manchester Titans. Pro style with twins to the top of the screen. Pressure comes from the Caesars. Welsh receives the football, and that's a first down. The pile is pushed. Tomlinson gets in.
Yeah, a little bit late from Tomlinson there. He's going to want to be careful because this game is already a little chippy. We've seen a few mistakes from the Caesars that have cost them penalties. Tomlinson doesn't want to get his name on that same board. I thought there that Charlie Martin could have kept that ball. It looked to me like the Caesars defensive lineman, I think he's wearing number, I can't quite see the number, black helmet, crashed down inside, which would have opened up the space on the left-hand side here.
Titans back in the pro style. Handoff to Welsh, who cuts back, finds a little bit of room to work with, falls forward for a 1 yard gain, but ultimately not a lot of work going in on that play.
Tomlinson now teeing off on the Caesars secondary players, their safeties and their cornerbacks. Seen him, but he has now taken a knee. Might have winded himself.
Medic Mary Priestner rushing onto the field. Oscar Devos, O-line coach, in pursuit as Lenkowski warms up his leg at the bottom, just off camera here.
So while we've got an injury timeout here, I'll tell you a little bit about our club merchandise for all those Manchester Titans fans out there. Titans are proud to announce a new range of merchandise for this season. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats, game day accessories, everything that you need to rep the Titans in style. You can also pick up authentic Titans memorabilia, such as decorative helmets and jerseys worn by players from previous seasons. If you are interested in any Manchester Titans merchandise, you can head to our socials, Instagram, Facebook, or our website to buy today. Plenty of merchandise on offer, including baseball caps, which are always available in the Titans stadium underneath the concourse as Scott Tomlinson comes off on the pitch with our physiotherapist, Mary Priestner, and her team.
And Matt Dowling comes in to take his place. I believe that same Matt Dowling who was centre for the Salford Storm in their debut season, competing at affiliate level before they join the Bucks competition this coming year. So that's the first competitive Salford Storm team, and I believe he picked up a game MVP as a centre, which is always an impressive achievement given that the trenches often go
Must have
unnoticed.
Had an impressive game to win game MVP as centre. Notably, he's playing centre now in replacement of Scott Tomlinson. He's playing next to his brother, Josh Dowling. Josh Dowling playing left guard and Matt Dowling playing centre. So that's quite a nice arrangement for them there. Let's hope that they have some success as David Adebo takes the ball for a very short gain.
That's his first tote of the game for Titans. If we look stat sheet wise, Adebo is actually one of the highest yards per carry on Titans this year, averaging 7.1 yards a carry. So when he does come onto the field, he makes one hell of an impact for this Manchester team. Let's see if he can continue here.
Yeah, Adebo offers a real spark in terms of his speed and agility. It's about getting the ball out to Adebo.
Oh, and the ball is down. Martin tries to fall on it, but it's recovered by the Nottingham Caesars. It's Gus Opong who scoops it up. Martin stays down. He jumps himself back up under his own power, but the Titans offense meander their way off the field now after a lost possession.
Yeah,
So
look to me. Sorry, Stan. Look to me there like there was a difference in opinion of what was about to happen there between, I think it was Martin and Nathan Jukes. It looked as though Martin was looking to hand the ball off, and it looked to me like Jukes thought that maybe Martin was going to keep the ball. So Jukes tries not to take it and allow Martin to keep it. But unfortunately, that miscommunication has resulted in the Caesars now getting an opportunity in their own half.
Caesars in a 2-by-2 spread now on the left hash. Quarterback takes the ball, hands it off to Taffy Ray, who cuts back to the middle for a lovely 6-yard gain. Those sweet feet from Taffy Ray, finding himself through the middle of the O-line and bringing up a second and very manageable here for the Caesars. I wonder if we see a bit more of this passing attack that helped them advance the ball earlier this half.
So I've just received word that number 3, the quarterback for the Nottingham Caesars, is Nate Wilson. Nate Wilson. So might have to do a little bit of research to find out where Nate Wilson has played before, if quarterback is even his usual position.
Caesars back to the 2-2 spread on the bottom half of the field. Taffy Ray gets the carry. And the O-line bulldoze forwards. The pile is still moving. And Taffy Ray falls forward. He looks to be a couple of yards short of the first down here.
3rd and short, really nice manageable situation here. You would assume that the Caesars would follow what success.
Oh, and there's a thrown helmet. 61 on the Nottingham Caesars, launched his helmet to the ground as he jogs, walks himself off the field. And we've got another Caesar down the field. We've got one of our officials waving his hat in the air to signal an injury.
61 is Henry Flatt, who, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't on my roster, but I believe that Henry is a student at Loughborough and so plays for the Loughborough Students American football team. But I believe that Henry has spent time with the GB Adults program, as well as spending time in Europe as a semi-professional player. So as we've got this injured player here, Caesars are in a 3rd and very manageable situation. The success that they've had so far has come from this running game. You'd have to imagine that they're going to go back to it on this play in the hope that they can gain this 1.5 yards, 2 yards. The pass with a quarterback who isn't their usual quarterback and has had, in theory, less than a week to prepare, they might not want to put that faith in such an important 3rd down, because if the Caesars are unable to convert here, Stan, we're getting closer to the 4th quarter, and the Titans having a 3-score lead. The Caesars really need to get some points on the board to cut that deficit down to give themselves a chance to come back and win this game in the 4th quarter.
This has to be a carry for Taffy Ray here. The clock remains dead. We've heard another couple of whistles from the officials. And we will wait to see what the result is. Yeah. In the meantime, we have partnered with Muscle Food. Use code BUILDTITANS at checkout and receive Titans Club discount of 10% of the order value. Directly support our fundraising efforts. So your support for Muscle Food will result directly back in a contribution to the Manchester Titans with use of the code BUILD-TITANS. All in capitals, that's BUILD-TITANS in block capitals. Wilson jogs back onto the field and the official signals that the clock will resume as Caesars break the huddle and they are back to the 2-by-2 spread now. Between the hashes, Nate Wilson prepares for the snap, communicating with his O-line. Titans show pressure. Taffy Ray receives the ball and he goes absolutely nowhere. Cade Macon swallows him up with the help of Fortune Oko there. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. That's a tackle for a loss.
Yeah, that's going to be really disheartening for the Caesars there, because if they do manage to convert that and they can drive a little bit further downfield, perhaps get, even a field goal on the board, they're in a really, they're in a position where they still have an opportunity to make something happen. It's it's silly to say that the Caesars won't have an opportunity to win the game here, but it certainly would decrease their likelihood.
The punt's low, but Morgan handles it well and sends it spinning out. Spinning out at the 29-yard line. Titans will take the ball on offense as Martin jogs back out. See a few changes here at receiver. We have Eugene Ndovlu in at receiver. And that's the end of the third quarter as we enter the fourth. The field is flipped. And that's Bisariu is back in action.
Yeah, Titans will really like to see Bisariu back here because going into the fourth quarter, Titans are in a position where burning clock is not a bad thing here. We've got a 17-0 game, almost identical to the game last week, bar the Nottingham Caesars managing to get a safety on an errant Titans snap on a punt that went out the back of the end zone. So Titans here, they'll stay aggressive. They won't be hesitant to pass, but if it's not within their game plan, they'll be more than happy to not try and push the ball downfield. You can see a tight formation here, so you'd certainly be expecting run here. Caesars will be expecting run. It's just about whether they can dominate that line of scrimmage.
5 on the line for Caesars as the Titans come out. A tight spread with Ndlovu in the slot now. The handoff comes to Bisariu as he follows his blocks for a short gain of 2 yards. We've seldom seen this tight spread formation from the Titans this year. I think we saw it a little bit in the away fixture down at Butts Park, but it's remained parked since then for the most part.
Bisariu down again. Might be time for the Titans to ride the likes of Nathan Jukes and Josh Welch. Let Bisariu, who the Titans have relied on quite heavily throughout the course of the season so far, might be time to give him the rest of the afternoon off. A well-deserved break. Allow him to rest up and make sure he's good to go for the next game.
This was going to be one of my points that I failed to mention earlier on the game, but the load management here for Bisariu must start to be considered. When you're up comfortably in games, although it doesn't feel comfortable, at the end of the day, this is a 3-score lead. And with Newcastle Vikings being the next home fixture, a game again, which the Titans would hope to secure a blowout victory if the 66-0 scoreline from the last fixture was anything to go by, is it time to give Bisariu, give him a rest, give him time to recover his body, and maybe opt to one of the other hands in that backfield with the all-important playoffs? Not quite yet on the horizon, but certainly in the Titans' train of thought at this present point in the year.
Yeah, the aggression from the Titans with regards to how they attack the season in its entirety, they will absolutely be considering playoff implications in a lot of their decisions as we get to the midpoint of their season. It's possible, but not definite, that, you know, head coach George Foster is aware that once they win this game, or should I say, if they win this game today, that they will take top seed in the North.
Big pressure there as Martin hauls the ball out to Welch for his first reception of the game. That's a first down, Titans. New running back, no problem for the Titans as Welch steps up, delivers a first down for the Manchester Titans.
Yeah, some creativity there, finding ways to get the ball into their playmakers' hands in space. We see David Adebo come into the game, number 19, replacing Josh Welch. Again, he's that bright spark, that real electric speed. If they can get David Adebo in speed, there is nobody on this football pitch today who will catch him. But it's just about creating those holes and finding the creativity to get the ball in his hands.
Back to the tight spread. Caesars send pressure. Adebo receives the ball, breaks a tackle, which is not something he's known for, but he's only able to make it up to the line of scrimmage here as Titans bring about a second down now.
Titans will be really happy with this game plan. They don't mind. They would, prefer a few more yards on that play, 3 or 4 yards per play. Obviously, is that mentality that I keep repeating. However, grinding clock, making sure that they are having positive plays rather than negative. They'll be happy to burn the clock and to just slowly and methodically tick themselves down the field.
Ndlovu in motion here as Adebo receives the handoff, and there's a lot of space there created by the Titans O-line, combines with that added misdirection caused by the motion to bring about a 3rd and short for the Titans.
Good tackle by Sam Pearson, one of the, in my opinion, best young defensive players in the country. Really formidable opponent. Haven't called Pearson's name a lot today, but he's more than likely been involved in a lot of the dirty work, which is a real sigh of relief as a defensive coordinator to have a defensive back with his range, with his size and strength, who can play both man and zone coverage, but also really get stuck in the run game.
Adebo stays in the game here on that rail route, which we saw earlier. Martin scrambles under pressure. 3-4 season pursuit. Oh my word. Lovely move from Martin. Sees him jump inside. Finds the cutback lane. And that's first down, Manchester. Martin with all the right to celebrate there as these chains start to move.
Yeah, plays to the crowd, lets his teammates know we're still moving. Love that confidence from Charlie Martin. Good blocking from the receivers there to buy him a little bit of time and space. Gets the first down, continues the drive, and more importantly, keeps that clock running.
Andy Jones takes a knee. Today's starting left tackle for the Manchester Titans.
On injury timeout here, so I'll just give anyone out there who's interested in knowing a little bit more about Manchester Titans, perhaps even getting involved. We're always on the lookout for new players, new coaches, volunteers. We got something for everybody. Contact, flag football. Want to get involved, you can head to our Instagram page for more info on all of our teams and how you can join the Titans family.
1st and 10 now for the Manchester Titans after that rare scramble from Charlie Martin. And we see them resort back again to this tight spread formation with Adebo on his left. Adebo fakes the handoff and the pass is battered down. That is number 7, Henry Scanlon of Team GB with the pass breakup. Almost straight out of Martin's hands, and it's hitting the outstretched glove of Scanlon.
Yeah, when you're throwing a screen pass, it's never good as a quarterback when you turn around and a defender is immediately in your face. You, as an offensive player, as a quarterback, you should not be seeing on a screen pass a defensive player in your face. So Titans need to make sure they secure that and that Martin has the opportunity to pass.
Jukes jumps into the game in protection. The ball goes deep to Eze. Touchdown, Titans! Martin over top to Eze. A perfectly placed football. However, we see 2 flags on the field. Now, 3 flags on the field. There's 1 in the backfield around the 35-yard line. And how cruel would that be to see this touchdown wiped potentially off the board?
Beautiful catch by Manny Eze. Unfortunately, he has directed the throw of his ball towards the defender. Initially, I thought it wasn't on purpose.
Oh, it's going backwards.
But after reconsideration, I think perhaps a little bit of excitement. He's thrown that ball. It's hit the defender on the head. The touchdown would have stood had it not have been for the penalty flag that we're seeing around about the 36-yard line on the left hash there.
The Titans will be praying for the wave of an official had to signal a waved off penalty here. No call has been made yet, but both teams have marched back downfield towards the original spot of the ball.
Henry Scanlon, very confident that the Titans are going back and this touchdown doesn't stand, so his confidence would lead me to believe that this is potentially a holding penalty against the offensive line. Coaches are just having a chat with Manny Eze there. Fantastic catch. Really, really good. They're going to talk to him about, celebration is fine, but directing that celebration towards one of the opponents is always going to draw a flag.
You've got to know the rules at this level of the game. In this game, it wouldn't have cost them if the touchdown was to stand. They would have been moved back, been enforced on the kickoff in the game they were up on.
Yeah, for a young player, it's just about developing that maturity, and he'll hopefully take a lesson from that and understand next time he can celebrate towards his own sideline. He can celebrate with his teammates, but It's just controlling that celebration and making sure it's not directed towards your opponents. Otherwise, that's what's going to result in a taunting penalty.
Personal foul, face mask number 76 on the offence. That is going to cost the Titans dearly. Wipe a touchdown off the board, and it's Josh Dowling in receipt. And 88.
88. Manny Eze has been ejected from the game. It must have been deemed a flagrant personal foul or a, well, I don't know if I've ever heard the terminology flagrant unsportsmanlike conduct, but...
The first one's face mask and then Eze's been disqualified.
Yeah, so we've got a face mask call initially. That's the penalty flag that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen around the 36 to 38-yard line. And then in the end zone, we had the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty or penalties. 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties results in an ejection from the game, which again, as we mentioned, when it happened with the Caesars James Simpson, results in a BAFA fine and missing the next game. So Eze will miss the next game, which is the 22nd of June, 3 p.m. kickoff against the Newcastle Vikings. Head over to our socials or online store to grab your ticket. Manny Eze will not be present on the field that day due to this ejection. And that's that maturity we were talking about, Stan. You know, a young player makes a great play. You have to be in control. And unfortunately, it's cost him and the Titans dearly. Takes them well out of reasonable range. Titans, in theory, should just try and burn clock here.
That's second and 40, I'm advised by producer Kieran.
Second and 40 is, I think, in my 25 years in the game, not something I've ever experienced. So kudos to the Manchester Titans for just the sheer quantity of penalties on that. I'm sure that George Foster will have plenty to say to the team about that. Breath, or should I say, they can breathe a little bit easier now, the Caesars. Not conceded that touchdown. Titans will stay aggressive, as I mentioned before, but on a 2nd and 40, you know, I'm not sure how many you've got on the list that work for this situation.
Well, there's 2 trains. There's 2 schools of thought here, really, isn't there? There's Chew Clock and there's Haul It Deep. And it looks like the Caesars are set up for them to haul it deep. We see 2 high safeties, DBs sitting off as Titans return to their 2-2 wide variation of the spread. Martin hauls a screen pass and it's straight out of bounds, intended for number 10, Sam Penfold.
Titans going back to that screen game. You know, the Titans use their screen game as an extension of their run game. You know, I've heard it called before, horizontal handoffs, essentially. You know, you want to get the ball out. Martin's going to catch the ball, turn immediately to the side that he deems to be the most profitable. That ball is in and out of his hands within 2 seconds. It's essentially a run play out to the sidelines. We'll see what they go with 3rd and 40.
Sit off again. It's a draw play to Nathan Jukes, who is brought down almost immediately by Caesars number 98. That is Ollie McGraw of Nottingham Trent University.
Yeah. Tough situation for the Titans there. Good play by the Caesars to respond to that touchdown that was called off. Shut the Titans down. They could end up with good field position here. It depends on how much of this ball Lenkowski gets over to Sam Fraser, the returner.
Oh, and it's blocked. Number 6 of the Caesars, Kareem Hamdi. But it's recovered by the Titans.
We've got a scrum at the bottom there. I don't think that the Caesars player knew that the ball would be live if he touched it. So if Titans have recovered this ball, they'll take over right at halfway.
The ball will be live.
Looks to me like Sam Pearson recovered that football. And now the Caesars will take over at halfway with what I can only imagine is around Half of the fourth quarter remaining. Caesars have to find 3. Wow.
Titans recover the ball. The sideline in jubilation as Alex Baldry leads the Titans offense back onto the field for a second attempt here. That will, of course, mean a new set of downs. The chains are going to have to move. 1st and 10 Titans from bang on the halfway line.
Referee must have seen something that we didn't see there. Looked like a clear recovery. Or should I say Sam Pearson came up clearly with the ball there. I'm assuming an official saw Titans player recover it on the floor, and then maybe Sam Pearson has managed to dislodge that ball and come up with it.
The ball would have been live from the block punt in the first place.
It would have been, yes.
There we go. Martin scrambles straight up the middle, and he's nailed. A strong hit from Andrew Wilkins there.
Yeah, we've mentioned Andrew Wilkins' name a couple of times here today. Really, really good tackler. Very strong. He's much taller than he looks here. He's a linebacker who I would say is 6'2", 6'3", and he hits with force. So good hit. Good that Martin was able to get up there for the Titans.
But I'm sure he'll be feeling that one tomorrow morning.
Jaw pads in your helmets are not so good.
Back to the 2-2 spread. Dukes in the backfield. 5-man rush from the Caesars. Dukes straight up the middle, through an opening, and up for a first down for the Manchester Titans. Just shy of a 10-yard carry there for Dukes in the face of a 5-man pressure. Great job from the Manchester Titans O-line as the chains are once again on the move.
Great, powerful, direct north-south running from Nathan Dukes there. Notably, Titans have brought in Owen Smith at right tackle. I thought that Owen was out with an injury, but perhaps he's slowly working his way back and they're giving him some field time here to, assess and get him back into the rhythm of things. So Owen Smith, a former GB offensive lineman, they run right behind him.
And we're back to the line of scrimmage there. Owen Smith prior to... Alex Baldry at the top of the screen getting a little bit involved there with Kareem Hamdi. But nothing seems to come of it. Oh, there's a flag down on the field. I spoke too soon. All we saw there was Baldry, arms raised in the air. Contact seemed to be initiated.
Yeah, we're getting chippy at the end here late. Titans are losing some discipline. You know, Baldry is a fiery character and he's a fantastic blocker. But if this penalty is on him after that first down run, this puts Titans again in another situation. We were talking before about the Nottingham Caesars disciplinary issues, all the penalties they've had. Well, as of late, it's been the Manchester Titans conceding these penalties. You know, not too long ago, we had a 2nd and 40.
That's
it is 87. Marches the Titans back another 15 yards. Very disappointing for some of those players. See their heads drop and them shaking. Titans have got to stay under control. Losing a bit of discipline here. George Foster will certainly be taking note of these numbers. How many penalty yards they conceded. How many of the same type of penalty. You know, are they penalties that happen in the play? Standard play and just some of those things that are sometimes unavoidable? Or are they those unforgivable penalties that don't need to happen?
O-line coach Oscar Devos now signalling plays in from the sideline in lieu of Owen Smith, who's back in the game now. Martin hauls it deep. Oh, and it hits both hands of Ndlovu, but he's unable to come down with it. A well-placed ball by Martin. But the Titans come away with nothing there.
Martin under pressure there too from John Winter. Manages to lay a hit on Martin, let him know he's there. Just out of the reach, or in fact, perfectly within reach.
Perfectly within reach.
It's that tough over the shoulder towards the sideline catch to maneuver your body into a position
and
to catch
focus on the ball as well.
Is very, very tough. So no surprise that Ndlovu's dropped the ball there, but disappointing.
Martin steps up in the pocket as pressure comes around him, and he carries it himself forwards. and advances the football 9 yards there to bring about a third and long. Caesar's DB sitting off once again, almost daring the Titans to attempt to beat them deep again.
Yeah, this Titans offensive line looks to perhaps be getting a little tired here, which is why we're seeing Martin scramble a bit more. Caesar's defensive line is getting pressure on Martin now, collapsing the pocket, which is forcing Martin to run up the middle of the field. He doesn't really want to be running this ball, but he's got no choice.
We have a pair of new tackles into the game now compared to what we start with, as Martin hauls it deep, but it's out of the reach of Sam Penfold on this occasion. We started the game.
Now,
there's a flag down the field.
Owen Smith has... I didn't see the initial contact between them. It looked to me as though there was nothing wrong with the interaction. In fact, the two players had a little high five afterwards. Personal foul.
Personal foul on number 65. That is Owen Smith as the Titans punt unit comes back on the field. We've got a series now of personal fouls from the Titans, costing them the yardage, knocking them out of range of scoring, knocking them out of scoring position. And it's getting to the point now where we're going to need to see a little bit of change here. We're falling into a bit of a rut. We're seeing the same thing over and over. A conversation I'm no doubt will be had by George Foster and his coaching staff on the sideline about remaining calm, remaining cool, and remaining professional in the advent of difficulty.
Yeah, lots of the other penalties Titans have had throughout this sort of third and fourth quarter, certainly lapses in judgment, lapses in discipline. I'd have to watch that play back to see what I thought about the Owen Smith, Andrew Wilkins interaction there. It looked to me like a clean interaction, and Owen has essentially landed on top of Wilkins and stayed there, which is a staple really for offensive linemen once they pancake a defender. But maybe there was some holding involved. It was a personal foul, wasn't it, actually?
Lenkowski hoiks the ball up in the air on the punt, and it bounces into the end zone. Nearly hitting the back judge, but it bounces back for a touchback as the Caesars will take control of the football at the 25-yard line. Huge
Pressure on the punt there. Lenkowski was fortunate to get that off. The protection for the punter broke down there, and there were lots of Caesars players converging on Lenkowski. Did manage to get the ball off. You know, that ball lands at the 1 yard line, and if it takes a different bounce, you're potentially in a fantastic situation there. But it's bounced into the end zone. Caesars will take over here. Is there any possibility, Stan, that with the time that's likely remaining, the Caesars can drive downfield and make something happen quickly here? Or do we think it's perhaps a bit too much for this standing quarterback?
If I were a gambling man, I'd wager against it. As we see Yigi Ertul penetrate the line there and chase down, strip the ball out of Nate Wilson's hands. But I believe that does roll out of bounds. And to answer your question, Sam, I don't think there's any chance. The ball is being recovered by the Titans. It did not, in fact, roll out of bounds.
We have an injury. The Caesars quarterback has stayed down on the pitch as they wave over the medics. Fantastic chase by Ertul. Chasing down the quarterback.
That is athleticism. That is relentlessness.
And, when he's gone to tackle the quarterback, he's recognised that the quarterback is still potentially looking to pass the ball, so we'll have the ball not tucked into his armpit, not tightly away. So he's come around his shoulders and chopped down, tightening his grip over the quarterback on his forearms so that when he is brought down, that ball is likely to shake loose. That's exactly what happens. And guess who? Madugu, again, getting his name on the board. A name to watch for years to come. Playing only his second ever year of football. He played half a season, or perhaps I think he played a full season at the Coventry Jets University before transferring over to UCLan last season. Played that season for UCLan and is now playing his third ever season of American football for the Manchester Titans. First ever season of adult contact football. And every game, whether it be away or at home, the commentators are calling his name. Madugu coming up with the ball there, but making plenty of plays before that. As the Titans offense takes over here, they will stay aggressive.
Tyler Brown now into the game at wideout, joining Ndlovu on the left-hand side, as we see Penfold and Greenhouse at the top of your screens there.
I would expect to see some kind of play here that's going to split the two high safeties with Ndlovu and Connor Greenhalgh. And they will try and attack
Duke's
the
bullies his way forward.
space of this Caesars defense.
Another solid carry for Nathan Dukes. Not necessarily renowned for his speed, but his vision as a runner and his power as a ball carrier, as we see him march the ball forwards there and bring out second and medium now for the Manchester Titans.
Yeah, the Titans will feel comfortable letting Nathan close this game out for them. However, again, I would expect some passes to come here. Challenge will stay aggressive.
As the offense check to the sideline for the play call. Martin takes the snap. Sent pressure from the Caesars. Dukes has handed the ball, and he's swallowed up by John Winter.
So in this area of the field here, Stan, you're typically looking at a defense that's anywhere between the goal line and the 20-yard line would typically move to man coverage. So just having your receivers out there, you can see Tyler Brown closest to us, 29, Eugene Ndlovu, 23. And you see the defenders, they are going to watch those men and mark those men. But it does look like they're playing some zone
swing from Adibo.
Coverage.
Martin releases for Brown. It's just a little bit too high for Brown, who is delivered a strong hit from Harry Johnson of the Caesars, and Brown stays down.
Yeah, lovely, clean hit from Harry Johnson there. Might have been, after the ball has disappeared, but in terms of his job as a safety, it is to clean up that middle. Tyler Brown has come over the middle, come into his zone. Ball is high. He's taken a hit to the ribs. That is the risk factor, the life of a slot receiver. So whilst we've got time, don't forget that you can get your tickets to the next game, which is a Manchester Titans home game, the 22nd of June, here at Belle Vue Stadium against the Newcastle Vikings. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Now, in the last game against the Newcastle Vikings, Titans away managed to score 66 points and concede none. So, will we see a reinvigorated Newcastle squad that is trying to avoid the relegation zone, dropping down into Division 1? Or will the Titans go from strength to strength and improve on or match their previous result?
Brown now sat up after taking that hit. Viewers will be glad to hear.
Who's impressed you today, Stan, on the Titans and Caesars?
I mean, from the Titans, we mentioned his name earlier, but Don Espina has been here, there, and everywhere. He's made plays in the passing game, plays in the running game. He's made a notable impression on the game. It's another boring take, but Fiz Bissiri, my word, what a carrier of the ball. We say his name all game. His name has been mentioned relentlessly for the whole season, as Brown now makes his way and walks off the field under his own power. Titans bring out their field goal unit now and will go for 3 points from the 19-yard line, well within Alex Lenkowski's range. Martin to hold. Snap is good. Kick is up. And the kick is good. After missing a kick earlier in the game, Lenkowski rebounds, nailing one from a good 30-plus yards out.
Takes the score here in the fourth quarter to 20 points to 0. Titans kickoff team getting ready to take the field. player on the Caesars who's impressed me today, Stan, is Bobby Okafor, the Nottingham Trent University player. On the defensive line, he's wearing that matte black helmet. He's had Charlie Martin down twice for sacks and has made a number of tackles in the backfield. He has impressed me. And offensively, whilst difficult as the Caesars offense has sputtered and been inconsistent, there is a bright spark there with Wellington Tafiray. Sorry, Welly.
Absolutely. Showing why he's made his way onto GB squads in the past as Lankowski drills it deep and, surprise, surprise, it's a touchback.
Yeah, not going to give Joshua Oluwatosin or Sam Fraser the opportunity to return that ball. So we see the Caesars offense coming out very, very difficult in these kind of situations. 20 points down in the fourth quarter to motivate yourself to, really put everything that you can on tape. But similar to what we said when East Kilbride were here, Grant Lawless, the offense coordinator, is just going to be looking to put some positive things on tape just to see some good execution so that they can go back and watch the tape afterwards and say, look, we can do it. It's just about everybody executing the play at the same time, and stacking those positive plays on top of one another.
We've seen they can score this season. They did so against the East Kilbride Pirates. They rebounded from that loss and came back at them with a 28-12 victory. So we know they can score. It's just a matter of seeing that spark again from the offense, though that may be difficult in the absence of regular quarterback Liam McGovern as the Caesars come out in an empty formation. 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Ball is released and on a wheel route. It is falls down incomplete. In coverage there for the Manchester Titans, we have Calvin Collins waving off the play.
Yeah, Calvin Collins, a transfer over from Tamworth Phoenix, I believe.
Coventry.
Sorry, my apologies, Tamworth. Coventry. A transfer over from Coventry Phoenix there in the coverage. Got second and long here, 2nd and 10.
Imagine they'll stay in the empty, and they do. We've got 3 receivers to the top of your screen. 2 to the bottom with Ben Harrison at the very bottom.
This is a really strong Titans secondary. I'm not sure this is the approach I'd be taking.
And it's picked off by the Manchester Titans. It's Adekola Adeshonor. And he takes the ball out, and that will be a turnover for the Manchester Titans, and the offense makes its way back out.
Yeah, I understand what offense coordinator Grant Lawless is trying to do. He's trying to make plays and show his team he's not given up on this game. As long as you've got a couple of minutes left at least, there's always a chance to score 3 or 4 point, scores. Put yourself in a position with this being a 3-score game. However, with the success that the Caesars have had so far and the limited passing that they've been able to do against such a strong secondary and a strong pass rush, I'm not sure that I agree with putting your quarterback in that situation. I think I'd probably try and just run some routine plays and put something positive on tape.
Hand off to Adibu, and he's got a lot of room to work with. He goes up sideline and lays a shoulder in someone before making his own way out of bounds under his own steam.
Yeah, that's
for an 8-yard gain.
Kingsley Eke on the tackle there, Nottingham Trent player and GB player, forcing Adibo out of bounds, not before Adibo lowers the shoulder and picks up an extra yard. If they can find Adibo in space here, he's sure to show off that speed and athleticism.
Dom Glebe now in at receiver at the bottom of your screen. Adibo with the carry again, finds the cutback lane and searches his way forwards for a short gain that sets up a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, nice movement in short or narrow space there by Adibo to weave his way in and out of the offensive lineman and find some yards there. Got a 3rd and short. Challenge could go for this with all 4 downs, but I think what's more likely is to try and secure this 1st down with either a short screen pass or a run. And if they're unsuccessful, they'll kick the points to make this a four-score game.
Greenhouse on the orbit motion, which sets up the space for Adebo to advance the ball forward, past the chains. And that is now first and goal. The first and goal of the game. All touchdowns for the Titans have come from outside of that crucial 10-yard area.
Eke on the tackle again there. Secure tackler, clearly. Again, one of those DBs you really like having around because they clearly spent some time with the tackling bag. They've not just gone straight over to the ball. You know, DBs, there's a reason why you're not playing receiver. Pick up the tackle bag. Make sure that you can get involved in the run game. Let's see how the Titans try to get the ball in the end zone here.
Caesars showing man coverage now in the deep red zone, as you mentioned earlier. They would, Sam. Duke's in the backfield, receives the handoff. Two Caesars there. He marches straight past them, showing them no regard for a 3-yard carry. Titans now beckoning on the edge of the end zone. We've got 2nd and 3 yards to go. 3 yards between Titans and pay dirt now.
Yeah, no need to get cheeky here. Run this ball at the middle with Dukes again. Offensive line for the Titans are doing the job here. Past 3 or 4 plays, they've gained some yardage. So you'll see some misdirection here, perhaps. There's your motion, and I think a run up the middle.
Temple in orbit, and it's Dukes again. Bulldozes his way forward. Touchdown, Manchester. The orbit motion works again. The space is created, and down into the end zone is Nathan Dukes for the 3rd Titans touchdown of the day.
Yeah, that is just a Titans offensive line, a big, strong Titans offensive line that is teeing off on a very tired Caesars defensive line. Dukes, your big back, you want him in on the goal line. He's going to protect the football. He's going to get his shoulder down, drive in, and he creates a touchdown for the Titans there behind that impressive Manchester Titans offensive line. Lenkowski here to add the extra point on to try and make it a 28-0 game.
Not only is this a new look Titans offensive line, as the kick is good from previous years, this is a Titans offensive line that is swapped out their starting tackles from the game, from the start of the game, and is now still able to run the ball successfully. So a success all around there from the Titans on that drive.
Yeah, 27-0 game now. As we get into the waning minutes of the game, I'd expect the 2-minute warning will come quite soon. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Nottingham Caesars just essentially try to run some clock here. After last drive, they tried to perhaps get a little bit fancy and make something happen.
You can see Henry Scanlon aiming his comments towards the Titans sideline, arms raised. What do you have to say when you're 27 points down? It's a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, you have the Titans juice, but for Henry, he is also quite familiar with a lot of the Titans players from GB, so perhaps some friendly drawing. Tough to know. I think Hank does like to talk as well.
Well, he's in good company for that then, as Ola is in his face over there. The kick is up, and it's another touchback for Lenkowski. Very successful game for Lenkowski on the kickoff department today. All the kicks he's intended for touchbacks have gone touchbacks, and then we've seen them go from that 6-4 split. They managed to get a tackle way back on the 20-yard line, so it's a successful game kicking from the tee, but obviously we've got that one field goal miss today.
Yeah, he also had the punt, which was touched by a Nottingham Caesars player, the one where Sam Pearson came up with the ball, but the referees awarded the ball to the Manchester Titans, so they must have seen something that we didn't. But yeah, good game from Lenkowski today. As you would expect, we've got a new quarterback in. I think that is number 16, who we initially expected, Johnny Elliott from the University of Nottingham. Let's see what Johnny Elliott can offer to the Caesars offense.
Back to that pro-style formation with 2 running backs in the backfield.
Hard counts to try and make the Titans jump.
And it's a interesting handoff, and the pile gets driven backwards. A little bit of miscommunication there, it seems, in the backfield between our new quarterback, Elliott,
Yeah, could have been a bit of nerves, could have mishandled the snap slightly. I think the intention is clear. It's hand the ball to Chris Baby, who is your bigger back. He'll secure the football and allow this game to essentially run out, as I think at the start of this drive, we had around 3 minutes remaining. I would expect after this play, or not long before this play, for the 2-minute warning to be called.
As the back judge checks his watch. Clock is still running. Ball is handed off. He keeps it, pitches it on the triple option, and we see it's first down for Nottingham. The pile keeps on moving, the legs keep on driving, and the ball is past the 40, up to the 43.
Yeah, Christopher Baby, we said they were going to get the ball in his hands. I just didn't expect that it was going to be a triple option play. Here we have, I believe, the 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes or less remaining in the game. I do believe that
That is the 2-minute warning. The PA system confirms.
all three timeouts.
I believe so.
For both teams. Wouldn't expect to see any timeouts here. Would expect both teams to just allow this clock to tick down.
I reckon we're going to see a bit more of this triple option here as we see the handoff. Just a regular read option there for the Caesars. As I believe that's Baby. Marches the ball forward again.
Christopher Baby, where have you been all day?
I know.
Grant Lawless needs to call the number of Christopher Baby a bit more. Titans are struggling to bring him down. Perhaps that backfield of Welly T, Wellington, Taffy Ray, and Christopher Baby is the way forward for the Nottingham Caesars.
Feed Baby. Back to the pro set now for the Caesars. Snap is good. And it's that triple option again. He takes the pitch option and he's tackled for a 3-4 yard gain. For those of you less familiar with the triple option style of offense, the quarterback has, as it would play would suggest, 3 options. They can either hand the ball off to the runner, keep the ball for themselves, or they can pitch it for the second runner, leaving them, as the name suggests, 3 options in the play. The aim is to make sure the defense is wrong every single time. And of course, with 4 yards there, 3-4 yards on that carry, I'd deem that a successful run, wouldn't you?
I would. 4 yards a carry is a nice place to be, but in 3rd and 6 or 7, they're going to need a bit more on this. So will it be triple option, or will we see something fancy?
I'd go to the play action here if possible. And we see them go for a drop back pass, which was thrown and caught by Baby, but will not be recorded as a completion, as whistles blew the play dead before it had a chance to start.
Caesars clearly understand now what they've got in Christopher Baby, calling his number, getting the ball in his hands, scheming touches to him. I'm sure Ben Harrison is somewhere shaking about those scheme touches. But to be fair, not a great deal you can do when you lose your Great Britain starting quarterback, Liam McGovern, and in less than 7 days you have to prepare for the same team again. See how the Caesars try and close out this game. See if they're going to be aggressive on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, or
now a heavily rotated Manchester Titans defense coordinator James Dean brings his guys into the huddle, makes sure that everyone's on the same page and is on the same understanding of what they're expecting the Caesars to come out in on this 3rd, well, not so crucial, 3rd and 6 down. Got a few new faces on that Titans defense now.
a few new faces on the Caesars offense as well. Looks like Raylis Dubelnieks is in the game on the bottom of the screen.
And
fake.
He keeps the ball and is brought down at just in front of the original line. Well, not the original, the line of scrimmage from that play is Johnny Elliott.
Somewhat a sensible choice there by Johnny Elliott. Initially wanted to throw the pass, perhaps saw the Titans defender floating in the area. He's tucked it. Some people, some quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, might think, you know what, I've got a receiver out there, and we have the end of the game. The Titans win.
And that brings out a final score of 27 to your home Manchester Titans, a score of 0 for the Nottingham Caesars. A round of tumultuous applause from the crowd beneath us at Belle Vue Speedway. And now it's time for handshakes. A comfortable victory for the Titans on the scoreline, but in terms of the on-field performance, we saw sparks of greatness, but there's still a little bit left to be desired, I think, from both teams. Really here today. We saw glimpses of greatness for the Titans offense, a few incidences of forward progress from the Caesars offense, but it was the Titans defense that really won the game today. I think you would agree. That big fat goose egg, 0 on the scoreline. Yeah. Hopefully a sign of things to come.
Coach James Dean will be very happy with that 0 against, you know, an offense that, albeit, is without its starting quarterback. But when you have players like Ben Harrison, Wellington Tafirai, I'm so sorry, Welly T. And you have Joshua Oluwatosin, Sam Fraser. You know, there's a lot of talented skill position players there. The Caesars offensive line, players like Henry Flatt are very talented. You know, this offense for the Caesars is going to have to find a way forward now without Liam McGovern, which is after the transfer deadline. So there has to be somebody on the Caesars roster now that they're going to look to carry this offense, because at the minute on the standings, it would certainly appear as though the Caesars are at risk of relegation. It's really going to depend on how the Newcastle Vikings and the Caesars second game goes. The Caesars defense is probably going to continue to put them in a position to stay in games and to compete, but it would appear as though...
Oh, a late flag's been thrown by the officials. There's a flag down on the clay surrounding the Belle Vue Speedway here, as we see official Ian Rogers jogging back onto the field.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Stan. I have never experienced this in my years involved in the game. So they've gone over to the head coach of Nottingham, Vanden Warner.
There's a guy in the stands just shouting. I don't know who it is.
There's a great spot there from our producer Kieran, right out of view from myself and Sam here in our position. There's a flag down on the clay.
I think I have an idea of what's happened here, Stan. The ejected Caesars player, James Simpson, number 74, I think is standing down by the concourse behind the clay and has left the team area as is instructed by the rules, but has perhaps said something towards the officials as they're leaving the field, which has resulted in a flag. Now, I could be wrong here, Stan, so don't take this as sacrosanct, but my belief or understanding is that James Simpson was probably due to serve a one-game ban. That ban could now be increased to more than one game for his, whatever his words or comments are to the officials after the game. Now, I will precede that by saying, if I've got this wrong and this penalty is not on James Simpson, then I apologise. But from what I saw of number 74, when he took his helmet off and returned to his sideline after the penalty, the player or the person that I'm looking at in the stands looks quite similar to that man. And James would have had to have left the team area. So we'll move on from that. Titans come to the sideline celebrating. They're going to have to find some offensive consistency, especially when players like Hafiz Bisiriyu are having such a high workload. They're going to have to find a way to move the ball more consistently away or with players other than Bisiriyu. We know that Martin can pass, but adding another dynamic to that, we're adding Josh Mills and Spencer Burkhill into the Titans QB room. That's arguably the most talented, or one of the most talented quarterback rooms in the country. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how George Foster and Alex Challens handle that situation and how they treat all three of their young quarterbacks.
All to be seen in the next iteration of Game Day Live here at Manchester Titans, which I, for one, am thrilled to see occur. And that, of course, will be our next home fixture, where we will play host to the Newcastle Vikings, currently with 1 win and 3 losses on the season. Who will be starting that game remains to be seen.
And due to the fixture between the Coventry Phoenix and the East Kilbride Pirates ending in a draw 28-28, that's going to see the Manchester Titans go to the top of the Premiership North, which will set up for a very interesting final meeting at Belle Vue this year between the Manchester Titans and Coventry Phoenix when they host them later on in the season. Titans are going to have to stay on their A game because Coventry are going to be right behind them. Let's not forget that the Titans also have a always difficult trip up to the East Kilbride Pirates, where Spoonie, you would think Matthew Davis, the head coach of the Pirates, is going to have his team raring to go. So, yeah, a competitive game that never felt safe. The scoreline looks like a convincing Manchester win. And George Foster, head coach of the Titans, will be feeling probably happy and confident and comfortable, but knows that the job is not over. If this Titans team wants to challenge for the Brit Bowl Championship this year, they're going to have to get more consistency on offense, and they're going to have to improve some of those disciplinary issues that we saw late into the third quarter and early fourth quarter.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Another quick word about our sponsors. So it has been USN are the main team sponsor for Manchester Titans, offering exclusive supplier discounts on supplements to the Manchester Titans, supporting the Manchester Titans all season long. We also have the Pitman Flannel Company, who are sponsoring today's stream and are here today, as previously mentioned, at the Belle Vue Speedway. We partner with the Pitman Flannel Company, where timeless style meets rugged comfort. From the sidelines to the great outdoors, Pitman's premium flannels keep you warm, sharp, and ready for anything. Built for legends, worn by Titans, and making my current choice of flannel shirt look, quite frankly, inadequate. And I think that'll be all we have for you today. We'd recommend you come down and join us for the next home game against the Newcastle Vikings on the 22nd of June, so later this month, a 3 p.m. kickoff. And I'll direct you to the Manchester Titans social media pages for the link to purchase tickets and be there and experience the action for yourself firsthand. So from myself up here in the booth with producer Kieran, Ben Reed on the cameras, and Sam Bloomfield as my wonderful co-host, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.